This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Just gets off the snap as Daniel Jones looks left. Great protection. Fires downfield. Again, it's Warren with a grab. Went up high to bring it in, and he's down to the 11-yard line. The Tyler Warren show right out of the gate. The Colts lead 3-0 over Miami. 3 go left. Fires upfield, and is an overthrow picked off by Cam Bynum. Daniel Jones flies it right side. It's caught at the goal line. Touchdown for the Colts, and it's Michael Pittman Jr. A 27-yard, beautifully placed pass by Daniel Jones. To Tagovailoa. Play action, drops the throw. Here comes the rush by the Colts. The ball is out, and it squirts right to a blue shirt, and the Colts have another takeaway into plus territory. Kenny Moore the second gets the sack, and the recovery by the Colts, and that's Xavier Howard, the former Dolphin, on the fumble recovery. And here's a quarterback sneak by Daniel Jones. He's in! Yes, sir! The quarterback finishes the deal. Another touchdown for the Colts. Tua backs to throw. Here comes the blitz off the left edge, and they get him! Nick Cross. Tua backs the pass. Rolling to his right. Sets up. Delivers over the middle. Picked off. Latu with the interception. First down. The Colts take a shot down the sideline. Looking for Alec Pierce. And he's got it. Oh, yes, sir. The Midwestern missile on the reception. Jones, quarterback keeper again. This time he slides in. Touchdown on a quarterback keeper. The streak is over.
Talking about a complete team win, that was the definition of it. This one's a little more special. There's a man, right, that gave so much to this city and this organization. He bleeded blue. He represented the horseshoe every single day. He loved this team, right? He's not with us physically, but he's in this locker room spiritually.
Someone said the roof is open so he could watch us, and he was with every single one of you, including us. And this really, really means a lot. These types of moments, this meant everything.
Well, I say we end with this, and you guys can follow me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Hold on. We will rock you.
Yeah, we're rocking you for the first time since 2013. The Colts get a win, a nearly flawless day offensively. The Miami Dolphins skittle back to South Florida with their dolphin tails between their little fins, I suppose is the way to say it. Good morning, everyone. Along with terrific Mark Dykton on the production there. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, we were all there yesterday. And, man, I thought the Colts would be okay yesterday, but, JB, I did not see that butt-whooping coming yesterday. That was fun to watch.
No, that was a classic. Go out there and get that switch off that tree in the back.
Quite the visual. Tell me that never happened to you, please.
No, that never happened to me. But, no, in all seriousness, that was a beat down of the highest degree. And all those reactions you all just had is what I was having in the press box every time the Colts made a play. And then, obviously, Kevin, we saw that the Dolphins were the opposite. The Colts make a play, the Dolphins give a play away. So a very lopsided game and a lot to react to.
Kevin, you've seen just about all those since 2013.
You didn't want to play off the switch comment?
No, we can leave it there. We can leave it there.
Unless she's got something to say.
No, I got nothing.
All right. You've seen most of those week one beatdowns on the other side. What was so much different yesterday?
Well, the Speedo has been ordered,
all right.
So we've got that. Should be here by about noon today. I know a lot of people have been curious about that, and then I'll confirm exactly where the Super Bowl parade will commence and will end here coming up in a few months. Clinical, surgical, best Colts performance I've seen in, I go back to Buffalo maybe in 21 when Jonathan Taylor ran all over the Bills. Complimentary football. I know it's a cliche word. It's a word that Shane Steichen uses a ton, and that was about the definition of it yesterday from the Colts. Clinical on both sides of it. Ball control via Daniel Jones's right arm, as weird as that sounds. And then a defensive system that is a total 180 from last year. Shout out to Rick Venturi. Caught up with him in the press box after the game, and he's yelling at me from about 50 feet down the hallway, yelling unrecognizable. Kept on yelling that at me, and I knew once he got a little bit closer to me, I had a feeling where he was going with it, and indeed, unrecognizable at quarterback, unrecognizable at tight end, and unrecognizable playing defense. And when you add up all that, it's 33-8, an absolute ass-kicking by the Indianapolis Colts in week one.
It was a lot of fun to watch, and they just kept marching down the field. And, oh, by the way, Shane Steichen and the Colts have announced their brand-new weapon, the first-round draft pick, Tyler Warren. 3 catches on the very first drive alone. They even fed him the ball on a carry a little bit later on. They kept going to him throughout the day. The man can play football, James. He can play football. That's just all there is to it.
You know what is the best part about that is that we got to see this, Kevin, throughout training camp and obviously throughout the preseason a little bit. But I felt like for those who may not have paid attention to it or had a chance to go to training camp, obviously those are not videotaped and shown on a major broadcast, but that was validation for everything that we saw. And even the first drive, 3 catches for 43 yards. He ended his day with 7 catches for 76 yards. And one of the more wild stats I was able to find, so I'm looking it up, and I'm like, okay, when's the last time a Colts tight end had 75 receiving yards? It was Jelani Woods in 2022.
Yeah, Jeff Saturday was the head coach.
Wow.
And I was thinking to myself, wow, 2 things. That was 2.5 years ago, and then Jelani Woods isn't even on the team anymore. So for him, that to be your debut is very impressive. And I got a kick out of Michael Pittman Jr. after the game saying, well, it could have been 200, if we kept spamming him and kept throwing the ball. But, Daniel Jones decided to be, selfless and unselfish with how he distributed the ball. But to get that kind of high praise, that performance. And again, just workmanlike. He never celebrates, never reacts. Him and Daniel Jones are very similar in that regard where they both had great games. But if you just look at them, you would not know because you're like, I don't know what kind of training they do, or they like Navy SEALs types, but they just don't react. And you look at the scoreboard, you're like, wait a second, you can't smile. But now they were too busy handling business.
Yeah, I think you guys saw my audible anger last Wednesday when I did not get Tyler Warren in our fantasy football draft. I think I
smashing
had
the over there, remember?
Yeah, I think I had that same expression, and James references the over-under. Jason Hammer pointed out last week, 3.5 catches. He almost got that on the first drive. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised necessarily about what Tyler Warren did, but I also don't want to diminish what he did in his debut because, as James pointed out, it's been quite some time since the Colts tight end has done that. And honestly, I'll point to a couple red zone reps. 2 plays he actually didn't even catch a football on. The Michael Pittman touchdown, to me, that is so much of what Tyler Warren already commands from an attention standpoint. If you go back and watch that play, and CBS did a great job breaking it down afterwards, but their safety, number 9, I'm going to totally butcher his last name, so I won't even try to go there. But he is so preoccupied with Tyler Warren down the seam that allows Michael Pittman Jr. in that cover 2 defense to, run the out and up. And Daniel Jones does a great job of acknowledging it, seeing it, processing it, and finds Pittman. And again, that is a tight end that has already earned rookie week 1 respect. And then later in the game, I thought should have been a pass interference. You have Minkah Fitzpatrick, don't need to roll off his resume, in man coverage against Tyler Warren on a play that, again, should have been a DPI. It was not called. So already the Miami defense, whether it's a safety paying a ton of attention to number 84, allowing for Michael Pittman Jr. to get open there, or Minkah Fitzpatrick guarding Tyler Warren one-on-one. I mean, you don't see rookie tight ends outside of Brock Bowers earn that sort of week 1 first game, first half on the Pittman touchdown type of respect. So Tyler Warren, flat out stud. Don't know if that's earth-shattering, but yeah, what a debut from him.
To piggyback off of that real quick, Jeff, I'm sure you noticed this as well. He lined up in the backfield on 3rd and 1 in that first quarter and also picked up 3 yards there. So I was thinking to myself, this is what opening up the playbook looks like, because, again, we hadn't seen a lot of how they utilize him. The versatility is rare, and even his last catch of the day I thought was probably the more defining Tyler Warren catch.
Yep.
You get it, you get hit.
Watch me do it.
Short, and it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to, drag 2 or 3 guys with me as I still pick up this first down and these yards that we need. So big performance, a lot of good vibes in the locker room, and obviously on a very emotional day for the Irsay family, the Irsay daughters, and some of the messaging afterwards, which I'm sure we'll get into and play some audio of, was pretty heartwarming and kind of just gave you some perspective on what it meant for those who really knew Jim Irsay, and obviously no one knows him better than his daughters.
I thought it was a great halftime, I want to say performance, but the whole thing where they honored Jim Irsay, put him into the ring of fame. I mean, they had so many guys. Pretty much all of the Ring of Fame guys were there. Kevin, was anybody missing that I saw yesterday that was around?
I believe Tony Dungy had to be at Sunday Night Football.
But he did the pre-video
right.
introduction.
But yeah, that was it. So yeah, I thought it was.
And then Peyton spoke for a minute, which was pretty cool too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really tasteful, really well done.
And you got to be efficient. You don't get much time.
Sure. And just the whole Irsay day,
Yeah.
For example, the Eastern Choir that sang the national anthem, they sang at Jim Irsay's funeral. James and Jeff, you guys saw in the press box, they had the bottle of Coke, Jim Irsay's kind of go-to drink that he loved up there.
2 big tubs of that in ice yesterday.
You had the For the Ball shirts for everybody. I think the Sweet Holders got some really cool Jim Irsay bobbleheads. So yeah, I thought it was a great day in that side of it. And I know you talk to Colts employees and the emotion of boy, the roof open, he's watching down, and you hear Kaylin and Mark played a little bit of that there in the opener of her emotion post-game as well. It kind of had a little bit of a movie feel to it. And I don't want to sound too hyperbolic, but it honestly did. You think about the week 1 drought, and you think about that's probably the most complete Colts performance I've seen in 3 or 4 years. Like, to me, that's not that crazy of a statement. And, all of it comes on a day that Jim Irsay goes in the Ring of Honor.
It was a lot of fun. We'll be talking about it all morning long. We'll get some of your feedback, 239-1070 on the text line. You can even call us up. We'll put your voice on the air live at 239-1070. And it's just so much fun to watch Colts fans be able to enjoy a week 1 win, because it's something that hasn't happened in quite some time. Also have some college football to talk about later on today. Good news for the Indiana Fever. We'll tell you all about it next as we
Kenny
continue.
Moore, by the way, 9 o'clock.
That's right. Oh, thank you for throwing that in.
Yes. Kenny Moore II will join us
You
here.
set that up, right? That's
Coming up.
Nice job out of you.
9 o'clock.
Yeah. All right, so that's what's going on today. It's going to be a big day, and we also have the GOATs of the week. All kinds of headlines for you. It's all in the next 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Down on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Victory Monday for the Indianapolis Colts on opening day for the first time since 2013. The Colts all over the Miami Dolphins, 33-8. Daniel Jones was terrific in his Colts debut, 22 of 29, 272 yards, a beautiful touch pass throw on a touchdown to Michael Pittman, who had 6 catches for 80 yards. Rookie Tyler Warren, 7 catches, 76 yards, and Jonathan Taylor had a couple of splash plays, 18 carries for 71 yards for him and Kevin Bowen. The defense forcing turnovers, stopping drives. Everything was working yesterday.
Yeah, Lou Anarumo in his bag, Shane Steichen in his bag. When DBs are sacking quarterbacks and D linemen are recording interceptions, it causes a whole lot of stress. I mean, when's the last time the Colts have beaten a legit quarterback? And they made Tua look the furthest thing from legit yesterday. So big time all around by the Indianapolis Colts. Shout out to Spencer Schrader. Perfect on all 7 of his kicks as well. So outstanding week 1 effort by the Colts.
That was such an ass-kicking that I think the level of heat on Mike McDaniel's seat ratcheted up quite quickly.
Yeah, he was answering some questions post-game that I don't think he thought was coming.
All
Not after
that
week
speed
1.
the Dolphins had, Achan, Tyreek Hill, it was just minimized. You never saw any of it
I thought
yesterday.
the Colts tackled really well. I don't watch the last touchdown maybe, but outside of, or I should say the only touchdown, but outside of that, I thought the Colts had a very sound tackling day, and that's not something I said very often, if at all, last year.
James, what was your biggest takeaway talking to guys in the locker room post-game?
Just the complete effort all around. You had people giving praise to others, and it's like when you ask one guy about their performance, they're more interested in talking about the other guy and what they did. So it was really cool. But one of the bigger takeaways I had was defensively. Shout out to those guys. I mean, all the newcomers made an impact. Javarius Ward, Cam Bynum with the interception. Even Latu felt like a new player because of some of the stuff that he was doing.
Interception for him.
Yeah, and he talked about how this is the vision for Lou Anarumo. He was like, you have DBs getting strip sacks and defensive ends getting interceptions. He was like, and that's going to be us all year, where we just kind of, do this kind of chameleon-like style where we change and we're willing to do different things. And he said it excites you because you never know if you're going to be the guy that makes the play or somebody else will make the play, but you have a chance to make a play and be a little bit more aggressive. And I think some of those guys like Kenny Moore II, another, again, strip sack for him, he kind of felt rejuvenated when I was talking to him in a way, because it feels like these guys are like, I've been let off the leash a bit, and we're not just doing the same thing and kind of laying back and letting them dictate the game. We're setting terms, and we're, meeting them.
All right, on to the Denver Broncos, who had all kinds of trouble finishing off their foe, the Tennessee Titans, an AFC South team yesterday. Broncos won at 20-12. Tennessee started an offensive possession on Denver's side of the field 5 different times in that game and only came up with 12 points. Cam Ward looked like he might have been the best player on offense for Tennessee as I was watching that game yesterday. But can the Broncos be had next week, Kevin Bowen?
Slight favorite, I believe, Denver over Indy. Yeah, that game I think goes a lot closer than the score indicated. Tennessee, 1 million penalties. Denver's defense, very potent, got after Cam Ward a whole lot. But, yeah, Bo Nix, I was not overly impressed by watching Denver last year, to be honest with you. I know they made the playoffs, but I didn't think it was a team that was running away from people by any means. So, I think the Colts can definitely win this one coming up next week.
All right, on to the Indiana Fever. They get a win yesterday on the road. They beat the Mystics 94-65.
Well, gotta mention Bills and Ravens from last night.
We can do that.
That was absolutely epic. For those that missed it last night, before we move on from the NFL, the game of the year, week 1, absolutely absurd. It reminded me of Rams-Chiefs. Like 5 or 6 years ago on Monday Night Football. Just the back and forth nature to it. Derrick Henry turning back the clock, yet had a huge fumble late in that game. And then Josh Allen is Josh bleeping Allen. Game of the year. Unbelievable last night.
I was staring at the clock. I'm like, I'm going to be tired as hell, but I am not going to sleep. This game is incredible.
Are the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen?
Yes and no, because I always think that guy in Kansas City is the better than all of them, just because I've seen him do so many special things in the playoffs. But if you had to ask me right now today, yeah, I'm going with those 2 I just saw last night. And I was watching them, and it puts in the context of the Colts. Daniel Jones played great yesterday, and I was watching those guys, and I was thinking to myself, man, this is like watching like Gods play or like Titans play. So, gives you some perspective on just how good you have to be to win the AFC, and obviously a big start for the Colts.
It's a different level of like quarterback competency.
Yeah.
Just like the things that these guys do, they make it look so easy compared to these defenses They're just trying to kill him. And they're just rolling out and just running around. Just there's a 30-yard pass to Keon Coleman in the end zone that just happens to get tipped.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, I was going to do it later, but we'll stick with it. Other AFC South teams yesterday, the Rams shut down the Texans 14-9. Question for you, Kevin Bowen. Is C.J. Stroud who we thought he was? The rookie guy, kind of a mid-year last year and not so great yesterday?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch much of it, to be honest with you. I saw it was kind of back and forth, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't Houston have a late turnover that they could have won the game, honestly, going in for the game-winning score there. So, I did not watch Texans-Rams yesterday, but right now, Colts-Jags, those are your two teams, top the AFC South.
Yeah.
Colts are the number one team in the NFL, right?
So far.
Biggest point differential in the league. If the season ended today, for some reason,
Super Bowl
meteor hits the earth, the Colts are your 2025 NFL champs.
Hang the banner now.
That's right. Jacksonville did beat the Carolina Panthers 26-6, and Trevor Lawrence had moments. He looked a little rough at times, but he had some moments. So we'll keep an eye on the AFC South as we go. All right, now on to the Indiana Fever. They won 94-65 on the road against the Mystics yesterday. Natasha Howard had 17, Aaliyah Boston 12 points, 11 rebounds. They are currently in the 7th spot in the WNBA standings, but more importantly, they've clinched a spot in the playoffs, James Boyd.
Yes, which is huge for this team considering all they went through, breaking that playoff drought last year, getting back there this year in a fashion that probably none of us could have predicted considering the injuries and the absence of Caitlin Clark, only 13 games this year. But, again, a very resilient group, and now it's all about playoff seeding and how they're going to shake out as far as that goes. But I'm excited because now they're guaranteed for the first time in several years a home playoff game, and that thing will be rocking at Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
And we'll look forward to hearing what might be next for them. In the meanwhile, college football, if you missed it on Saturday, Indiana with a big win over Kennesaw State, 56-9, as you would expect. Fernando Mendoza, 18-25, 245 yards, 4 touchdowns. Purdue got the better of Southern Illinois. They are 2-0 right now after Devin Mockabee ran for 126 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Ryan Brown threw for 2 more. And how about this? Chirp, chirp. Ball State covered against Auburn 42-3, but they covered the spread.
Never a doubt.
Never a doubt. Put some money on that one, Kevin.
Oh, yeah. 42.5. Lock.
Look at that.
I like it.
Absolute lock.
JMV's Indiana State Sycamores beat Eastern Illinois by a score of 38-14. Pretty good week for in-state schools. Butler got a win. Valpo did lose. UND did lose to Findlay, but man, in Division III, Anderson was a winner. Westminster was a winner. Franklin was a winner. Wabash was a winner. DePaul was a winner. So not a terrible weekend in state. Major League Baseball, I'm ready to admit that it's over for the Reds. I know they won yesterday 3-2, but they are so far behind now.
You're going out on a limb there. Matter of fact, you went out on a plank.
Didn't they take 2 or 3 from the Mets? And now you're ready?
Up. But it's getting late, man.
Oh, it was getting late. It was getting late early last week.
Kevin's been off the Reds train for about a month and a half at this point.
Done.
Yeah. The Cardinals beat the San Francisco Giants 4-3. Cubs lose to the Washington Nationals. I think they're pretty much entrenched in the wild card at this point, Mark.
Yep, 81-62. By far the lead in the clubhouse in the wild card. The division seems all but lost at this point. But yeah, losing 2 out of 3, the Nationals can't have it. Unacceptable. Bad weekend.
White Sox continue to play second half respectable baseball. They're not the worst team in the league these days.
They've been pretty solid.
Yeah, they beat the Tigers by a score of 6-4 yesterday. Later on today, Cubs and Braves start a series. The Reds will be in San Diego. I will probably not wait up to watch that game, Kevin Bowen. There you go.
Your sleep cycle appreciates that.
Yeah, and the Cardinals also start out west. They'll be taking on the Seattle Mariners. As far as the Indians are concerned, they are off tonight, but they finished a series with the Columbus Clippers on the road with a 10-9 victory yesterday. And if you're interested in NASCAR, Denny Hamlin gets a win at the Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois, as he picks up the victory there. So
NASCAR is one of the most obnoxiously long seasons.
It goes and goes and goes. Anything else you want to throw in, guys?
You know what? I know we'll talk a ton of Colts here for the next 2.5 hours, so I want to make sure we throw in this item because I think it'll get lost in the shuffle. What a great effort by the offensive line yesterday by the Colts. I thought they set the tone right away. I thought Daniel Jones operated from clean pocket after clean pocket. And yes, he got the ball out quick, but Miami's D-line, they have some dudes on it. And I thought just a great work by that O-line. Again, incorporating 2 new starters. We probably naturally don't give that group enough love. It was a huge emphasis for the Colts going into week 1, and I thought that unit played very, very well.
All right, coming up in a moment, we'll check the text line for the first time today, take another in-depth look at the Colts' big win over the Miami Dolphins, also get some thoughts from what we saw around the rest of the National Football League. It is a Monday morning, a Victory Monday here in Indianapolis on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning. If you're just getting into your car or turning us on in the home, whatever you might be listening to us, we appreciate it. It is a victory Monday for the Indianapolis Colts. 33-8, dominant win over the Miami Dolphins yesterday. Daniel Jones, I had this conversation with one of my real good friends, Jim, who owns the Sunrise Cafe. And Jim is optimistic about the Colts this year, and he was optimistic about Daniel Jones. And I said, yeah, you're hoping for like a Trent Dilfer type thing, where everybody else around you carries the team and you just do what you do and don't make a lot of mistakes. And he let me know yesterday that Daniel Jones, pretty good for a Trent Dilfer type guy yesterday, he let me know. And if Daniel Jones continues to just operate the offense the way Shane Steichen calls it, as he did yesterday, then probably some decent things are going to happen, James.
Yeah, he was very efficient. 22 of 29, 272 through the air, 2 rushing touchdowns. Although rushing, I think Daniel Jones would say might be a stretch. He got pushed in there, but they count all the same. And the way I look at it is after the first drive, Kevin, I thought that DJ, I feel like we should get some Lil Wayne go DJ somewhere throughout the show, Mark.
No Dan Jones?
Dan Jones.
How about Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones is a classic, obviously. That's an easy one. I think DJ is kind of what I want to call him when he balls like that, right? And going back to that first drive, I thought it was a little bit up and down. He had the errant throw. He got blew up on like the run and all of that. And I was thinking to myself, man, this could, kind of get ugly here.
He got whacked.
He got crushed. And then after that, he settled in. And again, to be that efficient with a new offense, new team, you have to respect that approach and that delivery as well. Because if you're leaving that stadium yesterday as a Colts fan, you're thinking, wow, I get that the Dolphins might stink, but on the flip side, that's what you're supposed to do against teams that stink. You're supposed to stomp them, and they stomped them.
They did. I had a little bit of PTSD, Kevin. I don't know if you did too. On that play where Daniel Jones just got completely crushed on a run, it reminded me of, remember when Chuck Pagano split Andrew left as a wide receiver, and he took a pass and just got laid out? I had a little PTSD there for a second.
Yeah, now you're really racking my brain a little bit there. Yeah, that was quite the hit by Matthew Judon there. But I don't even think Daniel Jones ever got checked out to.
No, he was good. He popped up.
He was good. And Shane Steichen downplayed after the game. He did not return after taking that hit to kind of the neck area late third quarter. Taylor, for what it's worth, did get looked at by the medical team. Stayed on the sidelines. At one point, put his helmet back on. So I think if the score might have been different, maybe he would have gone back in the game. But we'll see how that neck feels coming up this morning. Yeah, I mean, that offensive effort, ball control, methodical, but like ball control with Daniel Jones' right arm, not really ball control with Jonathan Taylor's legs. I mean, Taylor was fine. I don't want to act like the run game was poor by any means, but I mean, that was a methodical offensive performance, largely via Jones finding completions and allowing so much of those guys to do things after the catch. And, those scoring drives were long. I mean, we're talking double-digit play drives and all of that. And I mean, that was largely the Colts 2025 blueprint. Again, probably a little bit more Taylor than maybe not as much on the Jones plate, but it's ball control, it's staying ahead of the chains, it's getting in third and manageables, and then it's, having a defense that now causes stress. And it's not always going to look like that, of course, but it at least puts seeds of doubt. James, I know you pointed this out in your story, but I thought Cam Bynum had one of kind of the quotes of the game afterwards in referencing the overthrow by Tua on the interception. Bynum called it a not confident throw or a non-confident throw, I think is what he said. And that's exactly what you are attempting to do. Can you put seeds of doubt, pause, hesitancy, whatever, nervousness, however you want to describe it, can you put that into opposing quarterbacks' minds? Because in this league, if you're throwing balls that don't have a lot of confidence behind it, you're going to get exposed. And for you to do that again against an accomplished quarterback, to me, also stands out. So the epitome of complimentary football. And I haven't said that on a Monday after a Colts game in years.
It was a lot of fun. Again, you talk methodical. Not one, not two, 3 different scoring drives in double-digit plays, Kevin. And the time of possession was just crazy yesterday, all day long.
Yeah, they spread the ball around too. I think it was a handful of guys had at least a 15-yard catch. So, again, the exact sort of script you would want. And I know it might get lost in the shuffle in a 33-8 final score, but Shane Steichen is so damn aggressive. Like, those fourth downs he went for yesterday, I thought on every instance, I'm thinking to myself, man, if they don't get this one, maybe Miami's got an ounce of life or two. And yet every single – it didn't matter. I mean, you're up 3 scores. I'm thinking you kick a field goal here. You're up 4 scores. The game's over. And Shane's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to go for it, and we're going to control it for the next 5 minutes. I mean, Shane Steichen is – I'd put him right up there with any coach in the league in terms of his just level of aggressive fourth down calls. And I know there's going to be a game this year where they don't go well and fans are going to be irate. So just remember on this Monday, he was perfect on those fourth down calls. And if one of those goes the other way, all of a sudden you're saying, oh, my gosh, here comes the Dolphins back into it. But Steichen was certainly pedal to the metal yesterday.
It was a lot of fun. Here were your scoring drives yesterday, James. 9 plays, 62. 4 plays, 84 yards. 5 plays, 42 yards. 17 plays, 72 yards. 7 plays, 48 yards. 15 plays, 69 yards. 7 plays, 21 yards. A mix of efficiency and just grinding it out.
Yeah, and I thought when they had opportunities to go down the field that they did. I mean, I'm thinking of the third quarter pass that Daniel Jones had down the sideline to Alec Pierce where he made a very, pirouette type of catch on the sideline. It was a great way to reel in the catch because of the footwork and all that, but also a great placement of the ball. And I tweeted this out during the game, and you don't need the dump button for this, Mark, but I tweeted, I was like, Daniel Jones with the old F-U, deep ball there, because that throw to me was like, James and all of you who doubt that I can push the ball down the field and my willingness to take shots, how about that? And I think one of the more, not nuanced takeaways, but more subtle takeaways, and that's usually the case when your offensive line plays well, is that he had so much time that you kind of forget. They have 2 new guys in there. Tanner Bortolini is now the guy at center. Yes, he played last year, but as he told us Friday, this is a different type of role because it's me. I'm the guy who touches the ball just as much as the quarterback. And then talking to Matt Gonzalez, he was telling me, there's going to be ups and downs this year at right guard. I'm still getting used to it. Yes, it's a big change for me, but I'm excited for this opportunity. And 1 sack they gave up as a team when Daniel Jones was in there. And you remember, or you kind of forget again, that these guys are new. They're still young. And yes, like you said, Kevin, we'll be looking up in a couple of weeks after one of these games and saying, oh, man, that offensive line wasn't what it needs to be today. But the fact that they gave him so much time, I think you're allowed to see the player more. And so, again, Daniel Jones is probably thinking, if I just get, some protection, I can be, still pretty good.
We don't talk about the offensive line enough or all that much, but I thought outside of one penalty yesterday, I thought Matt Gonzalez was terrific yesterday. Like all day long in some of those big running plays that the Colts had, he was the guy that was shredding the way. He was really good.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure we mentioned that before we hit the break there a few minutes ago because I just thought I know that was a huge Steichen emphasis for Week 1. Miami's front definitely has some guys with the back of the baseball card. Has some notes on there, and I thought the Colts largely controlled that line of scrimmage, particularly from a pass protection standpoint. And again, when you can stay ahead of the chains, when you can live in third and manageables, you can do that. And with Jones, I mean, the ball to Pierce is exactly kind of the question that is there of like, okay, can he, when it's needed, and I get Miami didn't put you in a whole lot of conflict, but can you do that? Because yesterday, whether it was the dump to Taylor, missed tackle, boom, takes off for 10. James pointed out earlier in the show, the little dump to Tyler Warren on his final grab of the day, and Tyler Warren does the rest, 12, 13 yards. Again, just giving guys chances to make plays. Outside of that 1 3rd down to A.D. Mitchell, I don't recall many times Daniel Jones didn't give guys opportunities to do something with the ball. Too often with Anthony Richardson, even the completions didn't allow for anything after the catch. Again, outside of that 3rd down to Mitchell, I can't recall of the 22 completions many times where that play was just dead as soon as the ball was completed. He hit guys in stride. He made sure that they had opportunities after the catch to make something happen. You stress tackling. And Miami, I thought, was really, really poor in that area.
Yeah, A.D. Mitchell, only 78 catches to go, man.
Only 78 catches to go. You know what was funny though?
Wait, let's make it official then. The official AD Mitchell catch counter is that
2.
There you go.
That's right.
I like this.
Well, he got missed wide open one time. It would have been 3.
Oh,
Come on.
here we go. You know, you sound like the betters. But no, I talked to him after the game, and first of all, let you know how the vibes are in the locker room after a win. And what I love about covering football is that every win is just like the highest degree of happiness, and every loss is like you're walking to the morgue. You know, it's just different than basketball. I mean, outside of the playoffs. But when I'm going over there, I was like, hey, you know, AD, you got a chance to talk about Daniel Jones. I got two questions for you, just a little quick thing before he leaves. And the other AD, Ashton Doolin, is there. And I was like, matter of fact, I was like, either one of you guys, like whoever wants to kind of just answer this question about Daniel Jones, feel free. And Ashton Doolin goes, nah, he got it. And I'm like, well, you are the real AD, you know, and they got to arguing about whose nickname it is, all these things.
You went in there and stirred it up.
Exactly. And then when we finally got to Daniel Jones' part, AD Mitchell said, yeah, you know, that's Danny Dimes over there. He's kind of saying it kind of loud, while Daniel Jones, again, the most normal guy in there, or just chill. He's a chill guy, as Cam Bynum kind of, you know, called him. He's in there putting on his shirt and, you know, grabbing his shoes like he just finished, like, I don't know, going to school. And AD Mitchell's over there hyping him. Yeah, Danny Dimes was, you know, cooking up and all this stuff. And he just said, like, one of the things that excites you is, you know, you're going to have an opportunity with him at quarterback because he's going to spread the ball around. So you don't know if you're going to have, you know, the Tyler Warren day or if you're going to have the AD Mitchell day where you have 2 catches. But he was like, the exciting part is that you have a chance and you feel like you can get the ball any opportunity. And obviously it's one game, but he was just saying that that's what he's been working towards. And so it was, again, good vibes in the locker room. I don't think I've seen Quentin Nelson smile that much in quite some time, I must say. So it was fun.
Talk about spreading the ball around. Michael Pittman Jr. had 6 catches. Tyler Warren, 7 catches. Alec Pierce had 1. JT had 3. AD had 2. Mo Alley Cox had a catch. Josh Downs had 2. He was finding open guys and getting back to Tyler Warren. Most of the time on his receptions, whether it's his athletic ability or the scheming from Shane Steichen in that offense, he was generally pretty open on all those plays. He was good to go.
Well, and I thought that ball down the sideline, I think it was the opening drive, you know, Jones missed that throw in the preseason to Tyler Warren. And, you know, Warren, had to climb the ladder a little bit to go up and get it, but he was able to do that. I could not have been more impressed by Tyler Warren's debut, and I think he's going to be such an issue in the red zone. And I think you felt it already in the opener. I mean, I know I touched on this earlier, but 2 plays he didn't even catch a ball on. I thought he really, you know, Sean Payton and company getting ready for week 2, Vance Joseph and that defense, they're going to have to count for 84 in the red zone. You saw on the Michael Pittman Jr. touchdown, Tyler Warren running that seam route. I guarantee if that's Mo Alley Cox, if that's Drew Ogletree, if that's one of these tight ends in recent years, that safety doesn't feel as necessary to hold his line, thinking, boy, they've already peppered Warren with a bunch of targets. Daniel Jones is going to throw a seam ball here on 2nd and 20, and Tyler Warren's going to try to make a play. So that safety holds his line, and there's Pittman on the outside. Great scheme drawn up by Shane Steichen and company. Running a little out and up. Jones processes it beautifully. Boom. And then, you know, later in the game should have been a defensive pass interference on Mika Fitzpatrick. But think about that. Miami's putting, you know, their all-pro safety on Tyler Warren, one-on-one, on a rookie tight end in the red zone there. And, again, that should have been a flag. And even with that, it was still almost a touchdown. So, tremendous debut from number 84.
I also want to put another little flower on Daniel Jones because that touchdown pass in the first half to Michael Pittman Jr., that pass was a thing of beauty. It had just the right amount of mix between zip and touch, and it could not have been placed more perfectly in stride into the hands of Michael Pittman.
Yeah, and I did get a chance to ask Shane about that throw in particular, and the part that he pointed out, Jeff, was the anticipation, because he threw it before Pittman had kind of gotten out of his break, and it was just kind of one of those trust throws where we've repped this a million times, and I'm going to throw it to where you are going to be versus where you are. And in this league, at the highest level, that's usually how guys score, how they make big plays. You're not – I mean, I love college football, but you're not going to get very many blown coverages where a guy is just wide open and you get to just stare him down, throw it to him. That was one of those throws where it only works if the timing is there. And then got a little bobble there from Pittman, but a catch is a catch, you know, got in the end zone. And I thought his celebration was pretty funny, too. I know he's got the fairly newborn
He was
daughter.
changing the diaper, was he
But
not?
yeah, he's wiping the booty and giving the Dolphins a little bit of pain right
He did
there.
that in training camp too.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Speaking of, did we love the turnover celebration at the very beginning of the game for the Colts? How
I
about
mean,
that?
Yeah, Cam Bynum.
That
We were
was
asking
terrific,
him
Cam.
about it. Yeah, we were asking him about it after the game, Kevin, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't even know what that was."
It
He
was like
"I'm
the
doing
upside down crab walk.
Yeah, he said it was like the worm on his back, and then he posted a video to his Instagram
I saw this.
of him
where he
doing.
Did it 10 years
he did
ago?
it 10 years
Yeah,
ago,
Yeah.
and then he practiced it the night before, and then he did it on the day of the game because he got a pick, and he was just telling us about how like all of it is manifestation and believing you're going to be in the right spots. And one thing I like about Cam is that he was saying you work so hard at the sport that you want to have joy and have fun when you do deliver, because he was like, I take it very serious, and that's one of the things he wants to make very clear is like, yeah, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to goof off, but it's after I've done all the work to make sure I show up on Sundays. So that was a funny moment. And the only thing I would critique about it is like, I don't need the fake hamstring pull in there. Like, just leave that part out. I'm like, I don't need anybody pretending they're hurt. Like, just don't do that to the fans, to the media, because I'm looking like, is he
Too
hurt?
much history here.
Yeah, I'm thinking, nah, man, just get down, how you used to. But big play and obviously a funny celebration.
I know someone said it looked like a fish on land.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if that was a Dolphins, reference at all, but yeah, that was quite the celebration. Again, Cam Bynum, for those unfamiliar, that's his thing. Him with the Vikings last year really went viral quite often. Him and some of his teammates celebrating things. So get used to that. As long as the Colts are recording the playmaking that they did, and Bynum almost had a second one too later in that game. And that's the thing too. It's like, think about just how much tighter and contested the Colts created windows for Tua. Like that was probably one of my biggest gripes, really even in the Eberflus days, but certainly in the Gus Bradley days, of there was just a general acceptance of allowing completions to an opponent, whereas with Lou Anarumo, they are just going to challenge and contest a whole lot more. And speaking of challenging and contesting, I don't remember Miami throwing one ball towards Xavier Howard, which I was stunned by. I thought they would at least try to see what was there with the 32-year-old corner. And I know we're going to have Kenny Moore join us coming up at 9 o'clock. It was Xavier Howard pouncing on that Kenny Moore strip. Just a great play by Kenny. Typical him. Just such an intelligent player to attempt to try and strip that ball from Tua. And there was Howard to pounce on the loose ball.
It was a lot of fun. Checking in at 239-1070 on the text line today. Getting a lot of this Colts Nation from all over the country checking in on the text line. We'll get to some of those. Matt from Niagara Falls wrote, there's a considerable amount of effort that goes into finding and watching Colts games most weeks when you're not in Indianapolis. He says yesterday was the most rewarding of a watch that he's had in some time. Easily since the 2021 game against Buffalo. It's nice to start the season off on a high note for a change. Complimentary football at its finest. Colts Nation, for the first time in several years, just feels really good about itself today, James.
Does that sound like the 5 touchdown performance from JT? Is that the one he's referencing?
Yeah, so Buffalo in 21.
Yeah, okay.
That's the game I would go back to, truly dominant. And again, last year, all 8 wins were by 1 score. So,
Yeah.
I mean, even if you just want to live in the stress aspect to, honestly, there was a point in time, James, in that fourth quarter, I thought to myself, is Anthony Richardson going to get some run here to milk the clock?
I don't think Shane's going down that road.
That was like
no,
the
for
reality.
a second there's no, seriously, Jeff. If they
Anthony
had
Richardson was the only Colt not to play in the game.
Yeah.
Like, everybody got in.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
they took Braden Smith out. They took Quentin Nelson out.
I think had they being the Dolphins not gotten in the end zone on that last play on like 4th and 11 or whatever it was, we might have seen him get in there. Seriously, we were talking about that.
You don't get many walk-on moments in the NFL. Yesterday, the Colts got walk-on moments.
Yeah.
They played everybody could have played multiple. If you look at the snap counts, it's, kind of wild how many guys played and how many snaps they played. I mean, look around the league yesterday. How many blowouts were there? Not many.
It's not a blowout league, generally.
So, yeah.
That's a very good point,
For
too.
the Colts to have done that yesterday just kind of further adds to it.
I was happened to be listening to the Colts radio broadcast when the Dolphins did score, and my goodness, Rick Venturi, who's one of my favorite listens, he was so disappointed when they finally got into the end zone.
Well, he's a
wanted
defensive guy,
He wanted that shutout so bad.
That was
You could
the
hear it in
only
his
bad
voice,
tackling play of the day.
But the results speak for themselves.
Also, shout out to Spencer Schrader, man. 4 for 4 yesterday.
And 3 for 3 on extra points, as Kevin pointed out earlier. a perfect 7 of 7 to make his Colts debut.
Not bad.
And
well, actually,
the roof was open. We had a flyover yesterday. Did you see that?
Yeah, but I guess technically it's his second season with the Colts. He did play for them last year in Week 1, but being the guy now, that is a big performance.
Yeah, I like not only having the roof up. I did miss one of my favorite things on game day mornings to check Jim Irsay's Twitter feed to find out what the roof was going to be. It was appropriately open yesterday, and we got a flyover to start the season off. I like that.
Yeah, I thought the whole atmosphere around Jim Irsay's honoring, I thought it was really, really well done. I mean, super tasteful, exactly what you would think Irsay would have wanted there, and I thought halftime was great. I thought Peyton spoke well, Carly right afterwards, and you'll hear it here on the other side, a little Kalen Irsay, or should say Kalen Jackson, in the postgame locker room.
And I was also really impressed by Carly yesterday. That had to be really emotional. She held it together, I thought, really well during that halftime ceremony. It was terrific. Mark, coming up in a minute, we got some headlines to talk about, right?
Yep. Did the annual tweet after a Colts game, 5 words or less. Give me your instant reaction. So we got plenty of good ones to go through on the other side.
We'll do that next as we continue. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan on a Victory Monday.
Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Just gets off the snap as Daniel Jones looks left. Great protection. Fires downfield. Again, it's Warren with the grab. Went up high to bring it in, and he's down to the 11-yard line. The Tyler Warren show right out of the gate. The Colts lead 3-0 over Miami. 3 go left. Fires upfield, and is an overthrow picked off by Cam Bynum. Daniel Jones flies it right side. It's caught at the goal line. Touchdown for the Colts, and it's Michael Pittman Jr. A 27-yard, beautifully placed pass by Daniel Jones. To Atunga Viola. Play action, drops the throw. Here comes the rush by the Colts. The ball is out, and it squirts right to a blue shirt, and the Colts have another takeaway into plus territory. Kenny Moore II gets the sack, and the recovery by the Colts, and that's Xavier Howard, the former Dolphin, on the fumble recovery. And here's a quarterback sneak by Daniel Jones. He's in! Yes, sir! The quarterback finishes the deal. Another touchdown for the Colts. Tua backs to throw. Here comes the blitz off the left edge, and they get him! Nick Cross. Tua backs the pass. Rolling to his right. Sets up. Delivers over the middle. Picked off. Latu with the interception. First down. The Colts take a shot down the sideline. Looking for Alec Pierce. And he's got it. Oh, yes, sir. The Midwestern missile on the reception. Jones, quarterback keeper again. This time he slides in. Touchdown on a quarterback keeper. The streak is over.
I want to talk about a complete team win. That was the definition of it. This one's a little more special. There's a man, right, that gave so much to this city and this organization. He bleeded blue. He represented the horseshoe every single day. He loved this team, right? He's not with us physically, but he's in this locker room spiritually.
Someone said the roof is open so he could watch us, and he was with every single one of you, including us. And this really, really means a lot. These types of moments, this meant everything.
Well, I say we end with this, and you guys can follow me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Hold on. We will rock you. We will rock you.
Rocking the stadium away over at Lucas Oil yesterday with a 33-8 victory. The Indianapolis Colts are off and running. A terrific day to get it done on a day when we honored the late Jim Irsay, both at halftime and just before the game. Bobbleheads, celebrations. The Colts go out and get it done right. Daniel Jones' debut was terrific. Everybody was terrific yesterday. And the only thing not terrific yesterday, Miami Dolphins, and oh, boo-hoo. It's time that somebody else felt that way for a while, Kevin. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that was an ass-kicking by the Indianapolis Colts. Absolutely thorough offensively. I mean, the stat is insane. The fact that you got to go back to 1978, the last time a team has scored on all of their possessions. Shout out to Matthew Judon for helping that cause by the running into the old punter from Rigoberto. Sanchez to extend that drive, and then defensively, that's what Lou Anarumo is going to do. He's going to cause stress, and stress against legit quarterbacks. And, DBs are sacking Tua, and D linemen are 15 yards down the field recording an interception. How impressive was that play by Latu, though? Like, he read eyes. That was not some fat dude all of a sudden catching a big old ball that just happened to, plop up in the air. That was like a great play by him.
It was, Tua went right back to the bench, too, looked at that Microsoft tablet and went, what the heck is he doing there, James?
Yeah, he talked about that interception, and Latu also mentioned that this is kind of the role he played in college, where there's a lot of versatility involved, and you're not just rushing the passer, which is what he's going to get paid for. That's ultimately his bread and butter. But he was talking about how the diversity in the schemes and his skill set can help the defense overall. So, again, when you get a player like that who feels that they can make a play from various spots, I think it just gives you that extra juice to go out there and try to execute as best as you can. And to kind of piggyback off of that comment, Cam Bynum mentioned how on his turnover, his interception, part of why he made that play, Kevin, was because Nick Cross was in the right spot. So he was like, yeah, when Tua's looking to throw the ball down the field.
Like blurred vision.
It's almost like, dang, is that guy open? Is he not? And he was like, I don't make that play if Nick Cross isn't in position. And he also just flat out said, dude, I didn't do anything special. I just ran the scheme that we were supposed to. Nick Cross did the same thing. We confused him a bit, and he said, all I had to do was catch the ball. It came straight to me. And so, maybe when you celebrate the way he does, you prepare to celebrate the way he does, the football gods reward you in some way, but the reward really came from the preparation and the confusion they were able to give Tua.
I'm glad you brought that up because we've talked about the great day that Cam had. We've talked about Kenny Moore. We've talked about Xavier Howard in the strip, but I thought Nick Cross made a couple of big plays yesterday, Kevin.
Yeah, he had the blindside sack as well.
How was that not a fumble? I was like, man.
I know, and I thought, frankly, I thought Tua might have gotten hurt on that play just given his injury history, but fortunately he was able to stay in there. Yeah, I mean, when you think about the blitzing from Kenny and Nick Cross, I mean, that was, a 1st and 10, I think, on one of them. The other one was like a 2nd and short. I mean, those aren't necessarily like prime blitzing situations there, but, 2nd and short, what are you thinking if you're Lou? Well, Miami's probably thinking, let's take a shot here. It's 2nd and short. Here's our opportunity to try and get over the top, and the Colts are going to counter and say, we're not going to let you, get to that shot. We're going to get pressure on the quarterback quicker, and both of you guys hit on it right there. Jeff, you brought up all of a sudden Tua goes to sidelines and he sees Latu 15 yards down the field on a 3rd down. When Bo Nix gets ready for the Colts here in week 2, there's going to be a lot of times like, man, did you see that? Mm-hmm. Did they really do this there? Those are the things that I think are just, to me, they sound a hair elementary, which is why it was so frustrating the previous regime didn't do it, but yet it's just seeds of doubt. How many times can you stress preparation week to week in this league? The offense has so many advantages. These quarterbacks are so brilliant. I mean, you watched the Sunday night game last night. It's a game of the year. Watching Lamar and Josh Allen operate. How do you stress some of the weekly prep and then what they see on game days? And James pointed out as well in terms of Cam Bynum. Bynum referenced that throw after the game as a not very confident throw by Tua. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to, again, not allow these quarterbacks to feel like they're making the right read, to feel like they're stepping into throws, to say to themselves, I know exactly what's going on here. And that says this ball needs to go here with this timing, with this velocity on it. And, I mean, that throw from Tua, that looked like something we'll see from Cam Ward as a rookie, and so that part of it as well. So outstanding complimentary football. Daniel Jones, ball control with his right arm. So good.
James, to Kevin's point about putting stuff on tape that people are going to have to account for now and figure out what to do with it. How about defenses next? The Broncos defense, who might be the best defense in the league, by the way. They were just unbelievable yesterday. But all of a sudden, so many different looks and sets, and we saw Tyler Warren getting it early. We saw Pittman on the outside. We saw some nice passes to just about everybody yesterday. And then you saw some nice running design plays as well. There's a lot for a defense to prepare just based on the tape yesterday.
Absolutely. I mean, this is Shane Steichen in his bag, as the kids say, just cooking up different things. And even some of the other more unique plays. I know Ashton Doolin got the ball kind of like on an end around there in the red zone. And the variety, again, of what you're seeing, I think the excitement for Shane Steichen is I have a quarterback who I know, at least early on, will get the ball where it needs to go. And if that happens and we're able to stay more on schedule with our scripts, then I can kind of open up my playbook even more to get guys more involved, because there were a couple of plays out there. I'm like, oh, this guy's just toying with them. Like the 4th down call to Josh Downs, who, again, this is where Shane was saying Daniel Jones, some of his stuff isn't appreciated as much because it's so subtle. He changed the play there or changed the protection there to get Josh Downs open on the 4th down play. So, again, these are all things that ultimately helped Daniel Jones win the job. And when you start like that, you're wondering, okay, how far can we go if it's this efficient? Now, the challenge is to do it week in and week out, which Daniel Jones said after the game. He was not one to even get into a whole I feel vindicated talk or, take that with the Giants. He did not take the Aaron Rodgers approach to how things went yesterday for him. Now, he wasn't playing the Giants, of course, but still, he's someone I just don't expect him to ever really go there as a player. But talking to other guys in the locker room, they were saying, yeah, we knew it meant a lot to him, and he delivered for us.
It's Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd. I'm Jeff Rickard. Mark Dykton. We ask people every week to give us 5 words or less, their impressions on a Colts game from the day before. We compile them until we get to the morning, and then we spit them back out and react to them. What do we have this morning?
Extra, extra, read all about it. I can't read it. There's no words on it.
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight.
Ripped from the headlines of the newspaper.
We'll do it live.
Post-game headlines.
Thing sucks.
All right, it's a nice change of pace as we've been doing these post-game headlines through the years. Normally, week one, getting a lot of angry comments. Not so much today. Lots of positive feedback today, and it was good to see some nice, friendly comments in the post-game headlines. Jeremy said, what was Gus actually coaching? That is referring to Gus Bradley with the defense after what Lou Anarumo put out there yesterday. Colts fan said Daniel Jones named NFL MVP. Strack said Danny was diming in Indy. I don't know if there's any ones in particular you guys saw. Colts are good, or the Dolphins just suck. That's another one. That's from Michael Smith.
Okay.
Colts break tradition, win
to that
opener.
one.
I know.
What was it?
Colts win opener. Colts break tradition, win opener. And one said for the boss, belt to ass. Colts win. Similar to what James said to open the show. Billy Slick Willie said we owe Danny an apology. And then Steve said streak of suck is over.
Okay, well, here's one from the text line from Nick the Quaker, and this might be the one that I pick. Danny Dimes delivers Dolphins doom.
Look at that.
Boy, that was impressive.
How about that for
To
alliteration there?
get that into 5 words or less, Michael here, cautiously optimistic, but encouragingly intrigued.
We'll allow it. It's a week one win. We'll allow it.
Okay.
Let's say, I mean, hey.
And Rick, I'm not sure if this is Rick Venturi, but not a high school defense here. One thing I do,
And you know what? That is a bar. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know if the penalty discrepancy yesterday, because honestly it was pretty even penalty-wise, but like I have felt this about the Colts quite often, and I don't think it's just a Shane Steichen thing. Honestly, it probably is more of a Chris Ballard compliment. You know, Ballard is very, he stresses the high character of players that they want to find. I have very rarely, I would say in the last, 5 to 10 years, walked away from a Colts game and thought, man, the Colts are just dumber than their opponent. Like, I feel like the Colts almost every week are the smarter football team. And like yesterday, what did Miami do dumb? They commit a holding penalty on a 1st and 30.
They ran into the punter.
Running
they finally forced him to punt the ball.
They had 3 guys offsides on a 3rd and 10.
Didn't they have 12 men in the huddle as well?
Yeah, they had to take a timeout before a 2-point conversion late in the game. Like, and again, those
are drive-killing penalties.
This is with Tua. This is with Mike. You know, these aren't first-time quarterbacks or first-time head coaches, anything like that. To me, it's the same defensive, coordinator that they had. Like, I don't know if there's like a stat that quantifies it. I don't think the Colts are a super high penalized team by any means under Shane Steichen, but I just always feel like the Colts are smarter.
Can I throw out a stat that at least defensively shows how much they really got after Tua? So I went through this yesterday. His passer rating was 51.7, and I was like, man, that is obviously very low for someone who throughout his career has had seasons where he's completed 70% of his passes. So that is the lowest passer rating for Tua in a game in which he's attempted at least 10 passes. This is a veteran. Like, he isn't a first or second year guy. This is a guy who, has a max contract, so to speak, in the NFL. So to keep him down to that degree and make life that miserable for him, 14 of 23, 114 yards, and again, a 51.7 passer rating, that doesn't happen to him very often, if at all. So to keep him that off kilter to the point where you have already, I want to say it might have been the first half, Kevin, you got Tyreek Hill on the sideline blowing up on, getting upset or being frustrated, and that's understandable, but that's how disjointed they looked. And the part to me was that it never flipped. I'm kind of waiting, not in a sense of they're going to lose the game, oh my God, the Colts are going to blow it. I just waited in a way for the Dolphins to kind of wake up. As Jeff pointed out, the league is usually pretty tight. I mean, there's usually these games usually come down to 1 or 2 possessions. It just never felt like that. And, got a couple good breaks there. I thought Daniel Jones threw 2 bad balls yesterday, like 2 just bad throws. The one on the first drive that was over the head of Pittman, I believe, on an out route. I was like, wow, that was like Anthony Richardson out there.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that was rough. And then he had a near pick as well early in the game that the Dolphins dropped. And who knows, if they catch that ball, is it different? That's for you to, I guess, guess. But at the end of the day, you don't make those plays, and the Colts surely made them pay.
All right, that's going on as far as headlines are concerned. Terrific. You can check in as we roll on through the morning as well. 239-1070 on the text line. You can call us up and talk about a victory Monday for the Indianapolis Colts as well, getting ready for the Denver Broncos in Week 2. And, Kevin, as you pointed out, who's the number one team in all of the NFL right now?
The Colts. Super Bowl parade. Where will it start?
They're 1-0. They have the greatest margin of victory differential.
Should I order it?
Go get it, man.
I did.
You're going to have
the
a whole
NFL season ends
Speedos.
today. The Colts would draft 32nd overall. Isn't that the goal for everybody each year?
It is. How many Speedos do you think you'll have by the time we wrap this show 10 years from now, 15 years from now?
Maybe the Fever get on a run here. Maybe I'm going to need Speedo there. Kenny Moore II, by the way, going to join us coming up at 9 o'clock.
I love it. I love it. I love it, Mark. We have a lot to talk about as we check it down today.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
In case you haven't heard, the Indianapolis Colts with an opening day win at home on a day in which late owner Jim Irsay was honored, put into the Ring of Honor. The Colts beat the Dolphins by a score of 33-8. They scored Kevin Bowen on every single offensive possession.
Shout out to Spencer Schrader. Perfect on all of his kicks for those that decided to go outside, enjoy the beautiful day late. That included a 48-yarder late in the game with just about a couple minutes to go. And again, I did this in the first check down. I want to make sure we do it again. What a performance by the Colts offensive line. That was a massive key coming into this game for Shane Steichen. And that was a question mark, with two new starters there. And I just thought Daniel Jones operated from very, very clean pockets. I know he got flushed and obviously took the big hit on the opening series. He did get sacked once, but outside of that, I can't imagine many times Daniel Jones was even hit yesterday.
Question for both you guys. I'll give a game ball to the Irsay family, obviously, yesterday. But offensively and defensively, James, who would you give a game ball to on each side of the football yesterday?
We're going to say, without question, it has to be Daniel Jones, right? Mm-hmm. He had a hell of a debut, and I don't know if it gets much better for someone to start like that with a new team. So on offense, Daniel Jones. On defense, I'll probably go Latu. I like the pick that he got. You can throw the ball around a ton of different ways as far as who deserves some credit there, but he was feeling good in the locker room afterwards and very excited about what he could do this season in this defense.
I'll go Tyler Warren on offense, and I will go Lou Anarumo on defense there.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, I like those. I like those a lot. I would have also gone with Daniel Jones. And I like newcomers. Cam Bynum would have gotten a game ball from me, too. I like that. All right, the final scores we mentioned 33-8. Daniel Jones, 22 of 29, 272 yards, a touchdown throwing, 2 touchdowns rushing, both of them little sneaks from the 1-yard line there.
Is that Jacoby Brissett sneaking it? Have
it
the Colts
like
found a new short yardage? There goes Anthony Richardson playing.
As on one of them, those James pointed out, he kind of got pushed into the
No,
end zone.
but Shane mentioned after the game that he is among the all-time greats as far as QB sneaks go.
There is an art to it, in all seriousness. I'll never forget Peyton Ramsey at IU was so good at it. He would go off tackle. I mean, there is definitely an art to it.
Yeah.
And clearly the Colts feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, 18 carries, 71 yards. Tyler Warren, the rookie, in his debut, 7 catches, 76 yards. They gave it to him, James, 3 times on the opening drive.
Yeah, he was balling. I mean, that first drive had to be very satisfying for Colts fans, and just knowing how bleak that tight end room has looked since Jack Doyle left.
Michael Pittman Jr., 6 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. As a nice day for him as well. Elsewhere in the AFC South, they had the Carolina Panthers, no match for the Jacksonville Jaguars under new head coach Liam Cohen. They win 26-10. Houston Texans lose in Los Angeles 14-9. And the Tennessee Titans managed just 4 field goals against the Denver Broncos. They lose 20-12. Tennessee had nearly as many yards in penalties as they had in offensive yards total. I think there was a 4-yard difference.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Obviously, when you get the number 1 pick last year, you're not going to be very great. Usually the following year, I guess, unless you're the Andrew Luck Colts. But in my opinion, that is what the Broncos do to quarterbacks who are young, and that's what Sean Payton typically does to quarterbacks who are young.
We'll find out how the Colts do against the Broncos next week. And did we get the game of the year in week 1 last night?
If you stayed up, you were rewarded. I was staying up to watch Derrick Henry hopefully just lead me to a fantasy football win. He did that. He also had a huge fumble late in that game that allowed Josh Allen to orchestrate a little bit more magic 41-40. The Bills come back and win. Matt Prater field goal at the buzzer. Josh Allen threw for 251 yards in the fourth quarter. How many dudes threw for 251 in week one?
You said it, James. These two guys just operate at a different level.
They do. They do. They are the two best in the sport right now. I would still put Patrick probably in his own tier because I feel like he's the boogeyman. And did I forget that he's went to 3 straight Super Bowls? But it's just fun to watch those guys because you're never out of it, which is why I was so shocked to see so many Bills fans leave. I'm like, do you know you got Superman back there? He's got the colors, already, so you just stick with him. And the Ravens continue to find amazing ways to lose. Every time I see them lose a game like this, there's always like some random stat. This is the first time in the history of the NFL that XYZ happened and they blew it. They were previously 333-0. And here you are, and you blew that type of game.
By the way, speaking of Patrick, and I for a minute there, I thought that was like your buddy from third grade when you kept on saying Patrick. I was like, who?
Oh, me and Mahomes tight like that, you know.
Who's Patrick?
Same with Taylor.
Is Patrick Polygraph here?
And Travis.
Me and James go way back.
Do that again. That was good. That was good.
That was very Kermity. That was very good by Mark.
We
Dyson.
also had Scorigami last night. How about that? 41-40 has never happened in the NFL.
Shout out to Justin Herbert on Friday night. You want to talk about a dude that was dealing in Brazil out there. That, by the way, that was my MVP pick when we made our Super Bowl picks, our elite picks there. So Chargers with a big one on Friday night in beating the Chiefs in Brazil.
Mark, we have one game left on the schedule tonight. Want to tell us about it?
Ben Johnson's debut with the Bears against the Minnesota Vikings, divisional game. So
no Harrison Smith. That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a huge one out there. So somebody said, it's going to be a late night for Mark. I'm like, no later than it was last night. It was creeping towards midnight by the time I went to bed after that Sunday night game got over with. But we'll see what happens. I'm fingers crossed. Hopefully it goes well. We'll see, though.
All right, well, that'll wrap up week one in the NFL. Meanwhile, in the WNBA, they're putting a wrap on the regular season. A few teams still have some games to play, but the Fever, with one game remaining on their schedule, have clinched a playoff spot. They win 94-65 over the Washington Mystics last night. Natasha Howard, 17 points. Aaliyah Boston, 12 points, 11 rebounds. They're in, James. We just have to wait and find out who they will play and whether they're the 7 seed or the 8 seed.
They're actually guaranteed to be 6 or 7 now. They're past the 8 seed, according to Tony East, who's always great about this stuff.
I will trust that.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's great with seating, salary cap, all of your needs. Shout out to Tony East. You can follow him on Twitter at Tony R. East. But, yeah, I'm excited for them. And also, a home Fever playoff game awaits. And, yes, I get it is without Caitlin Clark, but perhaps that's the most impressive part is they got to this point without her for most of the season, and they have a chance to do something special and continue what has been a roller coaster ride, but a rewarding ride. I would argue for this team.
All right, college football. The Indiana Hoosiers continue their march through the JV schedule portion of their program, beating Kennesaw State 56-9. Having said that, Fernando Mendoza looked terrific, 18-25, 245 yards and 4 touchdowns. Lee Bebo had 60 yards rushing on 11 carries. Purdue got a win at home over Southern Illinois, 34-17. They are 2-0, Kevin Bowen, the Purdue Boilermakers. How about that?
Yeah, first time since old Cleo, right? 1918 that a Purdue head coach has started 2-0 there. So definitely first half playing with their food a bit there, but they've already doubled their win total from last year, and now Purdue will take on USC, Notre Dame, and Illinois the next 3 weeks. So welcome to real life for Barry Odom now.
Yeah, Devin Mockabee had 126 yards rushing 2 touchdowns.
Career high, right? 32 carries.
It was terrific. And Ryan Brown had 2 touchdown throws as well. And Kevin, the Ball State Cardinals covered against Auburn, 42-3 the final, but they didn't get over the 44.5. Or was it 42.5 at game time?
42.5, that's what I got it at. Chirp, chirp, never doubt there. Thank you to Ball State for that cover there. And nothing says college football more than the Mississippi State students carrying the goalpost out of the stadium. Shout out to the Missouri student who kicked the ball towards the Kansas sideline and then pulled up his shirt and had FKU on his chest. One of my favorite student fan moments at a game I've seen in quite some time. And one more college football. There's nothing like college football. One more college football shout out. With the game on the line, what does number 90 for the Florida Gators do? He says, boy, I saw Jalen Carter do this the other night. I'm going to hawk a loogie, and I don't think anybody's going to see it. a crippling penalty there. South Florida upsets Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. I love college football.
Poor Gators.
I don't like all that spitting, though. Y'all got to chill out on that. Who raised y'all?
That's gross. Sophie Cunningham had to enjoy that Missouri win over KU. She was talking a lot of rivalry smack towards that game in her latest podcast, so I'm sure she enjoyed that as well. Major League Baseball yesterday, Reds did beat the Mets 3-2. They took 2 out of 3 in the series there. Cardinals over the Giants 4-3. Cubs did lose to the Washington Nationals 6-3. I don't think their wild card spot's in jeopardy at all. White Sox won over the Tigers 6-4. Indianapolis Indians on the road got a win over Columbus 10-9. They are off today. Anything else anybody wants to throw in before we move along here?
Was it Alcaraz got it done in the U.S. Open?
And talk about that in a minute because we got some. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying.
Yeah.
He's a legend already, right?
Yeah, I had that on a second screen yesterday. That was a lot of fun to watch when I got home. All right, we'll talk about all of those things, and we've got Goats of the Week coming up next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Mark on fire again. Is that a little Nick Child there?
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol?
Mm-hmm.
It's a cover of Nick's song, right?
I have no idea.
Check that out for me. Maybe I'm just having a fever dream over
Nick
here.
Child?
Yeah, something like that.
I think I've ever heard of that person.
Anyway, all I know is we're...
Childs.
Pardon?
I'm just looking him up.
Okay. I'm just fired up that we are partying in this city because the Colts haven't done that in a long, long time, Kevin Bowen. First opening day win in 12 seasons.
This from Terry. Don't want to overreact, but this game gave me Pacer energy vibes.
Let's go. I like
You know
that.
what?
It did.
That is probably very accurate. Gives you kind of the underdog,
Not the fourth
unassuming
quarter thrill
look.
of it, but yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Just the complete team effort. It certainly felt like, Daniel Jones was the Tyrese Halliburton of yesterday's game. Distributing the ball, everyone touching it, everyone contributing, and then the defense got in on the action as well. Anytime you can force 3 turnovers in a game, you're going to win that game 99% of the time, unless you're the Ravens who find ways to lose.
Or the Denver Broncos and Tennessee Titans yesterday.
Yeah, or something like that. But
I'm about putting Tyrese Halliburton and Daniel Jones in the same sentence.
Woo!
I mean, did you see the point guard play from Daniel Jones?
No. I mean, like, I'm saying it as
I didn't say it. Yeah, I was just making sure. Like, I didn't say it as a slight. I mean, my guy was dealing yesterday. I got to give credit. Look, I am eating crow this morning. We have Gabba Hay in our YouTube chat who's been on my neck since we started the show this morning. Appreciate you listening. But, yeah, I got to give credit where credit is due. I made a joke about it.
James jersey for Tyrese Halliburton yesterday with Edge in the building. So, Halliburton
What'd you think of
made an appearance?
Edge's anvil?
I thought it was very Edge-like.
He's so cool for everything, right?
He is. He's
I was
chill.
like, this has the most chill anvil bang I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
his
he's probably
personality
like,
is not built for the old anvil there. It's probably more the McAfee energy levels there. But nonetheless, great day inside of Lucas Oil Stadium with so many former Colts back in the building.
Also, shout out to Edge for being out there for the Colts 5K. I ran my first Colts 5K this weekend. Shout out to Caleb Zuver, one of our new producers here at The Fan, and his father Mo ran it as well, and we all finished in about 30 minutes. It was a good vibes out there. I enjoyed it, and perhaps that is a tradition I should keep up now if the Colts have won a season opener. But one of the funnier moments, Kevin, was when I think I told you this yesterday. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, was on the mic when you crossed the finish line, and you finished at that 50-yard line in the stadium. Very cool, actually. And he didn't know I was going to be in it, so I just hit a dead sprint. And Mark, I ran and jumped in his arms basically.
Oh my God.
And he's like, what the heck? And he's like, oh my gosh, James Boyd from the Athletic. Great to see you, buddy. Big bear hug. But yeah, those are the kind of vibes we had Saturday going into Sunday. And obviously, a very good weekend and a fun weekend.
Did Matt Taylor drop a Midwestern missile for Alec Pierce?
He did.
Did I hear that in the opener, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
He did. I like that.
How about that throw from Daniel Jones? Down the field, first play of the. I think
was that his best throw of the day?
Of the third quarter. Yeah, probably.
That was sick,
I think
too.
the whole Pittman operation, knowing,
that was
safety's
sick.
occupied with Warren. And again, to go back to Tyler Warren here for just a second. 7 catches, 76 yards. Those numbers, we haven't seen a Colts tight end do that since Jeff Saturday was coaching. But when you talk about how Miami had to then pay attention to Warren, that Pittman touchdown we just talked about, it's the first play of the second quarter. At that point of the game, Tyler Warren had already created a presence where the Miami safety doesn't want to move off that hash mark. He's so worried about Warren on a 2nd and 20 down the seam, it allows Michael Pittman Jr. to be in that zone window. And again, great processing from Jones and realizing that that's a 2nd and 20 that you're able to get out of via a beautiful out and up. And again, Warren's presence. Then what do you see a little bit later in the game? You see Minka Fitzpatrick, man coverage against a rookie tight end. That, and it should have been a pass interference penalty. That is what Tyler Warren is starting to do already. So I know maybe the Colts didn't feel it in the sheer numbers. Like if you had Tyler Warren in fantasy, you didn't feel it as a touchdown, whatever catcher in this game. But he is opening up things for other people already, and that's only going to grow.
First down, the Colts take a shot down the sideline, looking for Alec Pierce, and he's got it. Oh, yes, sir, the Midwestern missile on the reception.
I like
There you go.
He's so good at his job. Man.
Pierce or Taylor?
He gets
or
better.
Both?
Matt
Both,
gets better
honestly.
every year. He gets better every year. Great day for both coordinators yesterday, too, I thought. Just a terrific day.
Oh,
Game plan.
Yeah, both were in their bags.
They just destroyed Miami on that. By the way, the great salesperson Joe Koppel and Scott Johnston both letting me know, hot in the city, Billy Idol. Hot child in the city, Nick Gilder. I knew it was in there somewhere.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's running around my brain in there somewhere. Every once in a while, both molecules run into each other.
Well,
what happens.
Got to get those right.
That's what that happens. All right, we've got Goats of the Week coming up next. It's the Fan Morning Show on a Victory Monday, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Oh, we dig the win for the Indianapolis Colts, and we were all just talking about our various and sundry wagers from yesterday. A mixed bag, it sounds like, for everybody on week number 1, Mark.
It's okay. Bills Ravens helped with all those touchdowns scored. I wasn't staring down the barrel at anything. I was like, okay, I've been salvaged. I've been saved.
I'm just most impressed that you took the leap and picked Ball State to cover against Auburn.
The easiest bet of the weekend was Tyler Warren, 3.5 catches.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
I was pumping my fist. I was like,
absolute. It almost happened on the first possession of the game. That was a stone cold.
He catches
lock.
everything.
Stunned. I was stunned by that. Vegas had to be a sleeper hungover.
I'm curious what it'll be on next Sunday.
I mean,
it won't be 3.5.
I think you got to hover around 5.5.
Let's look it up right now and see what we got going on. Is the Denver
I don't think
Broncos
it's out yet. I looked last night and I didn't see it post. But
for the most part, I thought the rest of the pass catching. Pierce only had the one catch, targeted 3 times. Downs probably a little bit lower than I would have thought there, just with 3 targets and 2 catches. He did have the 1 4th down. And again, Shane Steichen, boy, that man. Aggression is how he wakes up. I mean, that dude. I know.
Okay, so
Shane Steichen and swagger are probably not 2 words that maybe a lot of people would, or a word that they throw in with Shane Steichen. That dude is one of the most confident, cocky play callers you will find, and going for it on 4th down. I mean, endlessly yesterday. They went for it. It didn't matter what the score was, where they were on the field. Like, there was a point late in the first half. They went for, it might have been the Downs play, where they went 4th and 2, 2 and change to go. Mike McDaniel takes his last time out. Miami has no life at this point in the game. It's 17-0. They have no life. They have no timeouts. So if you simply, coffin corner it away and force Miami to go the length of the field, at best they're going to get a field goal. By going for it, you've now created a short field for them if you don't get it. And they get the ball start the 3rd quarter as well. Steichen doesn't care. They hike it, boom, Downs, conversion. Colts milk out the rest of the clock, Spencer Schrader field goal, and you're up, 20-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at all that he wasn't more aggressive on that 3rd down, like going into the half? They settled for a field goal, which was fine. They could put him up 20-0.
Was that when Taylor got tackled for a loss?
Yeah. And I was like, I wondered if he would throw it there.
Yeah,
everything had been working. I didn't hate the decision. Don't get me wrong. You're up 3 scores, but I was like, man, that's probably the only time he was conservative in yesterday's game.
I mean, he went for the other 3, 4th and short. I maybe a little bit, but still, some of those 4th down possessions, it's like if you are not getting it here, you are, one of them I think you could have stretched it to 4 scores, which would have ended the game, and yet, boom, he goes for it again.
He's a guy that feels like, give me 4 downs to go 10 yards, I'm going to get it.
Correct.
That's how he feels. Rankin Flush tweeted at us this morning on, this sounds like many, many comments, texts, and tweets we've gotten all day long. He says, I've been over Ballard and Steichen for 9 months, been all over those guys. Can't believe I'm saying this, but if this Colts defense and efficient offense we are getting each week, Colts have a shot at the 1 seed because the rest of the AFC might just eat each other.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
This is what I'm talking about. You know what?
Let's go.
You know what? On the day Jim Irsay got inducted into the Ring of Honor, that is the kind of unbridled hope, joy, optimism you need from your fan base. That is hilarious. I don't think the 1 seed is something I have even thought about with the Colts, but right now they're the number 1 seed.
I told myself on the drive in that, a comment like that or whatever, any of these week 1 reactions, you will not get any reaction out of me until tomorrow. For 24 hours, this city deserves to feel however they want to feel about the Indianapolis Colts. You've waited 13 years to watch your team win a week 1 game. They absolutely kick the ass out of the Miami Dolphins. They can celebrate however they wish. That Rankin Flush, what did you say there?
Rankin Flush was his name, yep.
Okay. I'll wait till 7:01 to address that.
I love it. I love it. By the way, 2.5-point favorites for the Broncos next week right now. 2.5.
Now, they weren't overly impressive, right? They got after Cam Ward a lot.
The defense was fantastic.
But Bo Nix still just kind of looks like,
The defense reminded you that they led the league in sacks last year.
Right. Great defense, but that offense does not scare me whatsoever.
No. All right, we got some business to take care of. Mark, what's up next here?
Who is the GOAT?
I told you all that I was the greatest of all time.
Jordan, here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good!
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Or GOAT?
This guy sucks.
Of the week.
James Boyd, we're going to let you lead off with the honors this week. Your best and worst of the week right now.
Well, the GOAT of the week has to be Daniel Jones for the Colts. That's an easy pick for me. 22 of 29, 272, 2 touchdowns. The Colts had a stat where they were saying he is the 5th quarterback in NFL history to have a season opener where you had 250-plus passing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. The other 4 were John Elway, Troy Aikman, Otto Graham, and Jim McMahon. So, essentially, they're saying that the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl because all those guys have multiple rings. Mm-hmm. So, I'll go with him as my good GOAT of the week. And do I pick the bad GOAT as well?
No, we'll go around
Get
first.
that in a minute.
That's my great GOAT right there.
All right, Kevin, you're up next.
My good GOAT of the week, shout out to the Kansas student. I have no idea, or excuse me, the Missouri student. I have no idea what his name was, but he trotted out for a field goal for charity. He said, screw the money. He literally turned, kicked the field goal towards the Kansas sideline, and then pulled up his shirt, and it had FKU written on his chest. This is incredible. Missouri, Eli Drinkwitz and company, your NIL needs to go to that kid and that student. His tuition should be paid for. It was one of the more epic, beautiful college football rivalry, I hate you, you hate us moments I've seen. His little squibbed kick towards the Kansas sideline was awesome. I loved it.
I like it too. Mark Dykton, what do you have?
Talked about it. If you didn't stay up and watch Sunday Night Football last night, boy, did you miss out. You need to go back and watch the replay in full. No fast forwarding, nothing. It was outstanding. Ravens-Bills delivered. Game of the year already in week 1. It was so good I needed a cigarette afterwards, and I don't even smoke. It was football intercourse. It was just breathtaking.
Football intercourse. How do I follow
And enjoyable
that?
for both parties.
How do I follow that?
You know it.
I'm going to bring you down for a minute, Mark. Your least favorite player in the NFL got a little revenge yesterday. You saw that, right? He's not my GOAT. He's not my GOAT. But whoever runs the Pittsburgh Steelers social media account had a picture of the quarterback and the wide receiver celebrating after their last second win, and the caption reads, "Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday."
That's funny. Yeah, that's a big TikTok joke going on right now.
So there you go. Goats of the week on the good side. Who's your bad goat of the week?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to say John Harbaugh. Why do your Ravens teams continue to lose in the most epic fashion? I feel like there's always 1 or 2 Ravens games every year where you're like, there is no way on God's green earth you lost this game. And I think it's time to start asking, why did your team tighten up so much in these big games? And if you do want to ultimately be a champion in this league, I don't have much faith in them to get it done because they always find a way to beat themselves, to make the mistake, to not get the stop. And I get the Bills are great, taking nothing away from them. But that's what the Ravens do, man. They always find a way to lay an egg in the biggest moments. And having Lamar Jackson stand up there to answer for that type of loss, you see his stat line yesterday. It wasn't his fault. So just a very weird team for me.
You guys are picking so many obvious ones. How about the idiot fan at the Phillies game? That woman, I don't know what the hell her name was, but she can kiss my you-know-what.
Yeah.
Walking over there, demanding the ball back from the father and the son. Absolutely pathetic. It was disgraceful. Fandom 101 says this: when the foul ball goes in the stands, anything goes. You can bite, you can scratch, you can claw, anything to get that baseball, and the kids always get it. Those are the rules. Those are the rules.
I'm not going to lie.
Period. That woman stinks.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how I would react because she put her hands on him. And I was like, are you out of your mind?
Right.
Yeah. I was like,
and she didn't even get the ball. Like, if you look at the highlight, she points at it, and then the guy picks it up, and she, like, runs over and jumps the section to get him.
But it worked out for the family.
I was going to say, you can
They got hooked up by the Phillies and even the opposing team. They got all kinds of stuff. I can't even go down the list.
They should ban her from the Phillies. What is that, Citizens Bank? They should ban her from there for the rest of the year.
Also, real quick, speaking of fans, the fan that pushed DeAndre Hopkins in the head at the Bills game and also pushed Lamar. And Lamar pushed him back.
And Lamar should have pushed him back.
Look, Mike Tirico, I'm sorry, brother. I'm not with you on that. That whole don't put your hands on the fence. Nah, You come into my space, I have every right to beat you down. And he didn't do that. Yeah. So I am Team Lamar in that respect. Like, nah, you can't be pushing me and I'm supposed to take the higher road every time. That ain't supposed to happen. Like I told y'all before, the high road has too much traffic. Go low.
I've always said this too. If you're a fan and you enter the space of the athletes, whether it's you go onto a court or onto the field or even the sideline, you violate that line and enter their space, you got what's coming to you, man.
There you go.
I got no problem. When guys try to run out onto the football field and somebody on the defense just trucks them, I'm all for that. I am all for that. All right, my bad go to the week, I just because it belongs there. Jerry Jones gets it. Remember, he was trying to paint Micah Parsons as the reason they couldn't stop the run in Dallas, right? Well, yesterday, the Detroit Lions, who have pretty hefty runners, were held to less than 40 yards rushing, 2.1 yards per attempt. Micah Parsons was a force. He had a sack. Jerry Jones, you are my bad go to the week. And we've got a great go to the week coming up next, Kevin Bowen.
Kenny Moore II.
We'll do that next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Two backs in the backfield with Tua Tagovailoa. Play action, drops the throw. Here comes the rush by the Colts. The ball is out, and it squirts right to a blue shirt, and the Colts have another takeaway into plus territory. Kenny Moore, the second, gets the sack, and the recovery by the Colts, and they're going to take over around the 42-yard line, and that's Xavier Howard, the former Dolphin, on the fumble recovery.
Colts getting it done everywhere yesterday. Defensively, they were terrific, led by veteran cornerback Kenny Moore, who just continues to light things up. He's always been steadfast. He's always been steady and terrific, and he was one of many that stood up yesterday for the Indianapolis Colts, Kevin Bowen. It was fun to watch.
Lightning in a bottle, right? Isn't that how they describe number 23? Coming off the edge there for that strip sack, a huge, huge play. And he joins us right now. We greatly appreciate his time on this Monday morning. Kenny, congrats, man. Good morning to you. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Are you thinking ball there on the strip, or are you thinking purely sack? It looked like you came with that punch for the left hand for old Tua.
Yeah, just trying to be aggressive. We worked the turnover drill a lot in practice, and attacking the ball is one of the keys to, getting the ball out. So if you just stay aggressive, stay resilient, and do your best to finish through the play, and sometimes good things happen, and I had the ball roll my way.
Kenny, when I caught up with Latu after the game, he was talking about how diverse this defense is with Lou Anarumo. He was like, you got defensive backs getting strip sacks, and you have guys like me on the line getting interceptions. So what is it like to be in this defense where any guy can make a play, but also they can make any play, if that makes sense, whether it's, some of the versatility we saw yesterday?
Yeah, it's kind of cool, just being in a versatile system that kind of gives you it opens the door for, you can change the game at literally any point in the game. So honestly, you just got to stay poised. You can't miss the layup. You can't just be there and not be in the moment. You know what I mean? So you just got to play with good intentions and just be in the moment, and just don't be surprised when the play calls your name to make it. So it's something that we work all the time in practice. The repetition is what make things come up in the game for us to execute.
Is the next locker room debate whether Latu's a better DB or you're a better DN?
We were actually joking about it after the game. He was like, I'm with y'all now. I got the interception, and because I was telling him how proud I was to see him make that play in practice, and then obviously correlate that to the game yesterday. That was so cool to see, and I think I know he has a really big ceiling. His potential is through the roof, and he's so athletic, and it was pretty cool to see him on the stat line of having an interception. The next step for him will be, how to get in the end zone. So how can we get those interception return yards into the box to make it even better for the team? But it's cool to have that type of correlation to a DN to be able to make an interception like that.
It's the voice of a Colts captain right there, Kenny Moore II, with a huge strip sack yesterday as the Colts absolutely dominate the Dolphins in Week 1. Kenny, how would you describe the personality of Lou Anarumo?
Personality, I would say passionate. That's what comes to mind at first. Passionate. He loves what he does. Football is something that he really cares about. He's intentional. He's not going to walk by the mistake. If he sees something that needs working, he'll let you know. He'll fix it. So I would say passionate and definitely intentional when it comes to approaching a game of football, approaching each day here in the Colts facility. He just knows what he has around him as far as personnel, and he has a great staff that kind of pushes the envelope as well. And yeah, I think we're so blessed to have him. I knew he was going to be the piece for us to pretty much ascend this year. And, hopefully, we can just keep climbing this mountain in a positive way. But, the season has a lot of ups and downs, and, the foundation that he's created here on the defensive side of the ball, I just know that that'll flow throughout the rest of the team.
Kenny Moore joining us on the Payless Liquors hotline this morning after a big win over the Dolphins yesterday. It felt like your defense was in control of that offense all day long. Like you dictated how things were going. When did you feel like, man, they can't do anything against us today?
Humbly so. That's just how we want to feel throughout the week. So whenever we touch the green on Sunday, we already got it figured out. You know what I mean? And it's not the easiest thing to say or to do. Don't get me wrong here. It is the National Football League, but you create that confidence and you create that edge throughout the week to be able to go out there and feel a certain way or a certain swagger to go out there and do your job and to do your job at a high level. So it's no really big moment that happened yesterday where you just feel like you got them. But honestly, when you walk out on that stadium and it's win for Jim and the moment's there and you see all the alumni there, shoot, we had already created that before the game. So just the energy was already there, man. The energy was there. So just having all the guys in blue yesterday, it was a moment that we want to feel again.
Kenny Moore II joining us on the Payless Slickers hotline again, Pro Bowl cornerback for the Colts. And Kenny, you mentioned it there a little bit, the win for Jim mantra going into the season. I saw after the game on all the monitors in the stadium, it said one for Jim, past tense, meaning you all delivered, and obviously you want to keep doing that. But what were the emotions like in the locker room when you all are able to present the daughters with game balls after getting a win like that on the day their father, the guy who gave you an opportunity to play in this in the NFL, going into the Ring of Honor?
Man, it was just a moment of a lot of things. It could be sadness, it could be joyfulness for the family. Obviously, having a big day like that was yesterday, we really felt his presence on a day just like yesterday. Just having the roof open for him to look down to the stadium to see the big plays and the happiness and the cheering and the hugs and stuff like that. I've had a stronger connection with the daughters over the years. I've had a connection with him as well over the years, and just having just that 1% of just seeing their interaction with each other, a family. That's how you get the example of family, not just saying family, but seeing the way that they live it and the way that they approach it and the organization is pretty cool for me to see. And just his leadership and his spirit that he's always led with. Obviously, we've been doing our best to try to, execute for them. So it's cool to have that type of purpose going into the game, going throughout the game. It's been a great approach.
Kenny, do we have an official description on the Cam Bynum celebration?
Man, I don't know what to say about Cam. I don't know. He's an interesting guy. I'm like, what do you do? Go home and you just watch all the movies and you take notes on the movies? Like how do you know all these different types of emotes? You know what I mean? So it's cool having him in the room, though. I mean, his spirit is very instrumental to, how we are as a defense, how we are as a secondary, and he's a bright spot, man. I wear my heart on my sleeve, so you will see my good and bad times. This guy is always on the high, so it's pretty cool to have a guy like him in the room.
Yeah, that personality definitely seems pretty infectious. Okay, last one for me, and again, we can't thank you enough for the time here. On this,
a little infectious right there.
On this Monday morning. I believe you are in the facility right now, just for fans that maybe aren't totally in tune to kind of the week-to-week routine for you in season. What is a typical Monday like for you after a game?
I'm getting up at 7 o'clock to get back to the facility. I got some recovery starting up 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we have meetings, so we can do game review, we do post-game notes, we do the get in the bag, tell them the truth. Okay, I saw this. Okay, I got to do better on this. So it's it's a lot of cleaning up, and then from there I do more recovery after work till about 4 o'clock or so, 4 or 5 o'clock. So it's still a whole day of stuff. We're in season now, so it's what can you expect? What can you really ask for? You know what I mean? I'm living my dreams. I'm feeling good about it, and I get to play with all my friends at recess every day. So it's been pretty good. Just today, you just got to recover every day you slowly get back into it to be back in that Sunday mindset.
I love it. Hey, last thing for me real quick, too. I know you saw it every day during camp and OTAs and stuff, but Tyler Warren's for real, right?
Yeah. It was cool to see how active he was. The preseason is always one thing, but to actually see it during the season, you're like, okay, this is for real. All these things count now, and just how accountable he is to the offense, and how much of a relief it's been for those guys. It's been pretty cool, and just having Daniel Jones there, and just having seeing Pitt go crazy yesterday it's pretty cool to see. And Alec had a nice catch, Ten had a nice catch, JD moving the sticks, and it's just so good. I think everything was just hitting on all cylinders, and we got things to clean up. Don't get me wrong, but I'm very proud of my teammates.
Well, good job out of you and your teammates and everybody else, especially on a day meant to honor the late Jim Irsay. You guys did him proud. So thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it, and we'll look for you next week against Denver.
No doubt. Much love.
Thanks, Kenny.
That was
Kenny Moore the second.
Colts sack leader, Kenny Moore the second.
Right.
Kenny Moore's a sack leader. Colts are number 1 in the NFL. We're done. They win. Let's go.
Again, I just ordered the Speedo. Said it'll be delivered by 1 p.m. today. Very efficient there.
I think if the Colts go on to win the Super Bowl this year, we should all wear Speedos. What do you think?
I
the whole show.
Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm with everything else, but not that.
This is not a, speaking of
Midwest
Speedos,
winter, no thanks.
transition, but Rick Venturi, I saw in the postgame, or I saw in the press box after the game, and he starts yelling down the hallway to me. Unrecognizable was the word that he kept on saying, and then when we got next to each other, he goes, unrecognizable at quarterback, unrecognizable at tight end, unrecognizable on defense. And I think, when we did talk about the Colts this offseason, okay, we did this a little bit on Friday, what are the reasons for hope? Aaron tweeted at us, okay, can you explain the reasons for hope? Those are really the 3 areas. Your pass catching group is the best it's been in the Ballard era. You're going to do something different at quarterback. Now, again, it wasn't a guarantee it was going to be better. Obviously, yesterday was much, much better. But you're going to do something different at quarterback. And then defensively, it's a total 180. Systematically, it's a big 180. And then, outside of Kenny and Nick Cross, a lot of the guys you're playing in the secondary are very, very different. And yesterday afternoon, they all showed up like roses. I mean, just an thorough, clinical, surgical performance. It's probably the best Colts effort in, I think I'd go back to that Buffalo game late in that 2021 season. Especially because, I get Miami's got some dysfunction. Who knows? Maybe the Dolphins aren't going to have a very good year. But it's not like you're playing this third-string quarterback and, whatever, a fired head coach. I don't know, maybe Mike McDaniel will be fired shortly. But to be that thorough after a year where you had 8 one-possession wins, absolutely just a clinical performance by the Colts.
Well, it was a lot of fun to watch, and ironically, 2 teams that played yesterday, Denver and Tennessee, happen to be the next 2 opponents for the Indianapolis Colts. And so, again, said all along, these first 3 weeks so crucial to the Colts and how their season goes, and they're off to the right start right now, and they look good.
Kenny said we've got a lot to clean up.
Yeah.
Can you guys throw those glasses on for a second?
I think a lot of it has to do with just not pitching the shutout. Those guys are still kind of perturbed by that after the game, and understandably so. That was actually that looked like the last Colts team that we saw last year when they had missed tackles and weren't able to finish plays. But
what about
again,
the run defense?
I'm nitpicking.
6.5 yards per carry for Miami.
Yeah, but it wasn't ultimately all that effective.
No. But I'm trying to view it in Kenny Moore's eyes. Like if he literally says we have some things to clean up. I mean,
it's one of those things you go back and look at film, and everybody's got one little thing. And maybe they got away with a bunch of stuff that we didn't get to see because this guy is 2 yards out of position, and that causes the 6.5-yard thing. Or maybe one time we got away with it, we were in the wrong set of what we were supposed to be. Just things like that sometimes that they know that we don't know. Other things that he's probably talking about, don't you think, James?
Yeah, but I also know that 6.5 yards a carry or 4 yards a carry, whatever you just mentioned, the 6 point whatever, is not good.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's certainly something that will get circled, I'm sure, by Lou Anarumo, and even the masses can understand that.
Yeah, and for the most part, though, one thing we didn't have happen is you didn't have Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane just running all over you.
Yeah, or Waddle. I mean, I trying to, in my head, picture the longest ball that Tua even attempted down the field. I thought there would be some definite design shots, especially at Xavier Howard. I don't even know if Howard was targeted, really. He's the one that scooped up the Kenny Moore, strip. But, that week, the Colts exposed Miami's weakness at corner. The Colts, a little bit older at corner, or, maybe a little bit more of hey, that's been a really banged up group. They haven't practiced a lot together this spring. That wasn't exposed at all by Miami.
Yeah, the longest catches by each player. Early, Tyreek Hill had that 21-yarder fairly in the first half. Waddle had a 16-yard reception. Achane had an 11-yard reception. I think he turned a short pass into a run. Connor had a 14-yard reception. Washington had an 11-yard reception. That was it.
You know what? Shout out to James, not me, one of the people text line. From the text line, he mentioned that the kickoff coverage wasn't good. Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty bad yesterday.
Yeah, a couple early on.
They had they got some great field position. Now the Dolphins didn't do anything with it, but you don't want to keep playing with fire. I think a lot of teams, though, are adjusting to how this new kickoff coverage kind of works. And if there's one person who will be thorough in his assessment of this, we know it'll be Brian Mason, Kevin, because for those who aren't familiar, we get on a Zoom call to talk to the coordinators every Tuesday, and if we request a special teams coordinator, Brian Mason will have a 2-minute, I don't know if it's a prepared statement or if it's just conscious stream of thought. Well, he'll just start and basically answer everything before we ask it. And it's very thorough and actually kind of interesting the way he goes about it. But I'm sure he'll have many thoughts on how that went yesterday, because that was not good enough. And a better team will make you pay for that.
I know it didn't count in the standings because of the personal foul. But that punt by Roberto, Rigoberto, that was a sweet punt, man. That thing was long and it went high and it turned over, Mark.
You know what went well in the game when we're breaking down punts at 9
I was
o'clock?
yeah.
No, but I'm just saying it was one of those days where everything was going.
That stat is insane. And obviously the Matthew Gion penalty that Jeff references helped out there. But 7 drives all ending in scores. First time since 1970. That's any NFL team. First time since 1978. That is absolutely insane.
Red Zone was rattling off stats that the Colts were doing, and it's usually they're on the wrong side of these statistics, and it's they were going through the history books. It's kind of insane what they're doing right now.
Yeah,
that is remarkable.
Was that in between commercial breaks?
I didn't notice any commercials during Red Zone. Maybe there were. I didn't watch all full 7 hours, but I didn't notice any.
Okay,
some people were worried about.
One from the Colts PR team that stood out to me was the fact that they held Miami to 43 yards in the first half. And that's their fewest yards in a first half in at least the last 34 years. And whenever they give us a stat, when it's at least since then, it means the stats don't even go back far enough to find out how ridiculous it is. So it could be longer, but at the same time, just an overall dominant performance and one that you certainly want to build on. But I do think, like most of us in this room probably think, next week will be a bigger test. And as Daniel Jones said himself, the good teams can build on the success. That's how you kind of don't get too complacent with what you accomplish, but nevertheless, man, anybody feeling good after that win, you should. It's been a long time since you were 1-0.
All right, Mark, let's do a quick check down here in this 9 o'clock hour.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Talking about it all morning long. Colts 33, Miami 8. Now that we've seen it, written about it, talked about it for a couple of hours, your overall thoughts as we start to wrap up this win, Kevin Bowen?
Well, it was an ass-kicking. It was the Colts putting together their best performance in probably, 3.5, 4 years, and I don't think that's hyperbole at all. It was both sides of it. Shane Steichen, Lou Anarumo, outstanding. Again, I thought the offensive line did a really nice job in keeping things clean for Daniel Jones, and shout out to Spencer Schrader. Anytime you kick it 7 times, all it takes is one little hiccup, and it might not be a perfect day, but 7 for 7 on those kicks along of 48, and it's been a while since you've beaten a legit quarterback. It's kind of hard to say because you certainly didn't make Tua look very legit, but I probably got to go back to week 3 of the 23 season when you beat Lamar Jackson. The last time I think you beat kind of an upper echelon quarterback, and the Colts did that emphatically yesterday.
No concussion for Tua yesterday, but Mark, the Colts did give him a headache, I would imagine, when it was all said and done.
I have to imagine so. He was annoyed by the questions post-game that he turned the ball over in bunches, and he did not take too kindly to those questions.
James,
2 and
your
3
overall
snaps
thoughts?
yesterday.
What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dominant performance, big-time performance, and one that we haven't seen from quite some time. I was looking it up. Daniel Jones was still in high school in North Carolina the last time that the Colts won a season opener.
He was 22 of 29 for 272 yards, a touchdown passing, and a beautiful throw to Michael Pittman Jr., 2 touchdowns rushing. And the Colts move on to play the Denver Broncos at Lucas Oil Stadium next Sunday. We'll start to get you ready for that one as the week moves along.
If I gave you guys 100 chances, you think you could replicate Cam Bynum's celebration?
No.
Any chance?
James, let's go. You were ready to go.
No chance.
All right.
Kevin, you're spry.
Mark, you've seen me stretch my back before.
That's true.
I saw someone said it looked like I just got stung by a bee. I'm like, yeah.
Have you seen your daughters do anything like that?
I thought it was a dog rolling
Mark?
in grass at first.
No, they do flips and all kinds of somersaults, but I don't even think they have the dexterity and ability to do that. If they got my genes, definitely not.
Even Kenny Moore was like, where do you even get that? Where's that come from? I like that. Elsewhere in the NFL yesterday, the AFC South, next week's opponent, Denver Broncos, narrowly defeating the Tennessee Titans 20-12. It was Houston losing in Los Angeles 14-9. And the Jacksonville Jaguars got an opening day win against Carolina. 26-10 was the final score there. And maybe the game of the year already last night, James Boyd. Buffalo rallies from a fourth quarter 15-point deficit. How many fourth quarter yards passing did Josh Allen have?
251.
Woo, James, you saw that game. That was terrific last night.
Yeah, I think when I saw that stat from ESPN, I tweeted, he did what and what? Because that is typically a great game line for someone, but that's also Josh Allen. He's an alien, and we are not the same. Sometimes I look at these athletes seriously, and I'm like, how are we the same species?
No, it's crazy. Later on tonight, Mark, your Chicago Bears make their 2025 debut with new head coach Ben Johnson.
Let's get the W. For God's sake, get a win.
Taking on the Minnesota Vikings.
I so wish I was watching this game with my uncle Mark. He is going to lose his mind tonight.
You have an uncle named Mark, too?
No, I was like, I have an uncle Mark.
No, his name is Tony, but yeah, he's Mark. He will lose his mind. And honestly, during the bye week, if I get a chance to go home and watch a Bears game, I will show you the video afterwards because the emotions will be high over at their household tonight.
All right, coach's poll is out in college football. Indiana moves up from 23-22 after getting it done against Kennesaw State over the weekend, and Purdue is 2-0. How about that, Kevin Bowen? You mentioned that little stat you had last hour.
Yeah, Barry Odom, first Purdue head coach to start a era in West Lafayette 2-0 since 1918 or something. So, yeah, Indiana will do the Friday thing this week. Indiana State, I hate that. You got Bloomington South and Bloomington North, and in the same city you have the college football team having to play a Friday night game before they've got James's Fighting Illini, who pulled away impressively from Duke. I know it was a bit of a struggle for the first couple.
Y'all see the hoodie? I mean, come on now.
And Purdue's in the marquee CBS slot coming up this Saturday. USC. That did not go well last year when they had the nice start, and Notre Dame came to West Lafayette. We'll see what happens with Lincoln Riley and company making the trip out east. For what it's worth, USC did lose, I think, every road game last year when they had to make the trip out here. So we'll see if Purdue can muster up any upset.
Fever over the Mystics, 94-65 on the road yesterday. Natasha Howard, 17 points. Aaliyah Boston, 12 points, 11 rebounds. They have one game remaining in the regular season tomorrow night at home against the Minnesota Lynx, 7:30 start time. You'll hear it here on the Fan, 93.5, 107.5, the Fan, I should say. And Eddie Garrison will have the Fan pregame show at 7:15. And where are they at in terms of playoffs right now, coming down the stretch here, James?
They can be 6 or 7. They're out of the 8th seed officially because of the seeding. So that's what they're fighting for, and we will see where it all shakes out in a couple of days. And then, like I said throughout the show earlier, you have a home playoff game coming for the Fever without Caitlin Clark. If you told me that was possible at the beginning of the year, I would have called you a liar, but this team is very resilient, and I'm excited for that environment. I should be able to cover that one. As long as it's not on a Sunday, I'll be in there.
All right, for our gearheads
I think you're probably
there.
looking at next week, like this time, for that game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so their regular season finale today.
But you know what?
Or tomorrow, and then their first playoff game, likely a road game.
Yeah, good call. But you know what throws me off is last year. I keep thinking of like when last year everything started off. It was because of the Olympic delay or whatever that was different. So, yes, good call.
Yeah, so road game probably this weekend for the playoff day, game one, and then home game next week.
Denny Hamlin wins the Enjoy Illinois 300. How about that? A race called Enjoy Illinois just for you, James Boyd.
There you go. I feel like I enjoy every state that I live in. So Have fun out there, my friends.
We love it. We love it. We love it. Major League Baseball later on today. All the teams out on the West Coast. Well, not on the West Coast. Cincinnati plays at San Diego. St. Louis will be in Seattle. But your Cubs will be taking on the Atlanta Braves down south.
Get a win. Get a series.
You got two screens going tonight, Cubs and Bears?
Probably, yeah. And wrestling, too.
Oh.
'Cause I'm a sick pervert.
That'll never show
Football,
up on anything, will
baseball,
it?
Can you clip that for yourself, Mark?
I
Sure.
need that to show up somewhere.
I'll do that right now.
All right. We'll talk more about the Colts and a Week 1 victory and what lies ahead as we continue next. It's the 93.5, 107.5 The Fan Morning Show here on a Monday morning.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
It's a victory morning for those of you sleeping in late or those just staying with us. We're happy to have you along for the ride. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Go to 93.1 FM. Flip it over to HD2. There's a really strong signal way to get it there. If you're in the office already, you can dial us up at 1075thefan.com and listen live, or you can just say to your smart speaker, Alexa or Siri or whoever, play 107.5 The Fan, and you will be able to hear us wherever you are, wherever you go. Gentlemen, of course, the Indianapolis Colts on a victory Monday with a 33-8 dominant beatdown of the Miami Dolphins, but a couple of other things that I wanted to get your thoughts on throughout the rest of the NFL. Liam Cohen, successful debut for Jacksonville. They beat Carolina 26-10. Trevor Lawrence was okay, but they ran all over the Panthers as everybody did last year. Travis Etienne Jr. had 143 yards on 16 carries. Right now, does it look like maybe Jacksonville is a team to chase, or do you give up on Houston?
What did Travis Hunter do?
He had 3 catches on offense, and he played 6 snaps on defense.
So mostly a wideout?
Yeah.
Jacksonville, I think in a lot of ways, people kind of view them a little bit like Indy, of a team that if you look at recent years, Jacksonville, honestly, they've had more success than the Colts, but they're one of these teams. You just kind of look at it and you're like, wait a minute. Can Trevor Lawrence get back to being a, better quarterback in the AFC with a new offensive-minded head coach in there? So, yeah, Jacksonville, I think, is just one of these teams that's lurking. But, boy, if I make week 1 stamps, then I probably should refrain from that. Was it the New Orleans Saints that scored 40 in week 1 and week 2 last year, and they were the first coach, Dennis Allen was the first coach to be fired?
Yeah, that's true. And also, I flirted with my bad go to the week being whoever decided on those uniforms for the New Orleans Saints yesterday.
Were they bad? I did not see any Saints.
They were horrible. I turned when I was watching Red Zone at first, I was like,
might be.
I turned it on and they did like the quad box. I'm like, what am I looking at here? What is this? And then I was like, oh, that's the Saints. Oh God, those are hideous. There's all gold jerseys on black pants. I think it might not have been bad if they did like white pants or something, but it just clashed and it did not look good at all.
Yeah, it was
horrible.
That might have been one of the worst NFL uniforms I've ever seen in my life. Did you see it, James? Did you get a chance to look at that?
I did. It was not what I wanted to see. It did not look good. That's for sure.
Tennessee really struggled. They have a rookie quarterback, Cam Ward. They started 5 drives on Denver's side of the field because of a bunch of turnovers the Broncos had, and they could only convert those into field goals yesterday. In fact, they got the ball back in the middle of the fourth quarter with a chance to maybe go down and tie and do some things. And instead of doing anything, they got the ball at the Denver 40. When they finished the drive, they were at their own 40-yard line.
I'm not too surprised at the struggles there. A lot of the skill position players are just not very good in Tennessee. You're a rookie quarterback going up against, Sean Payton and a defense that usually gives other quarterbacks, fits. And let's not even talk about what happened with the Colts last year in that game. So, chance to bounce back next week, but welcome to the league. I'm sure that'll be a humbling moment for you.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens, but that's the next 2 opponents for the Indianapolis Colts. Denver next week, Tennessee the week after that. Obviously, we had the game of the year maybe last night in the Ravens and Bills. We've talked about that all night long. Any thoughts on Aaron Rodgers going and getting some revenge against the New York Jets yesterday?
It sounded like a wild game, back and forth, and it sounded like an awesome game there. Was that the most high-scoring game of the whole week besides
34-32.
Buffalo and Baltimore there?
So Jalen Ramsey with a huge hit.
Yeah. Nice, that one.
In that game, that was – he was talking his talk, and he backed it up on that one.
Colts will see Pittsburgh. They go to Pittsburgh middle of the season.
And good Justin Fields showed up, too, because he was balling out.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson had a big game.
And again, he hit Garrett Wilson on that 4th down, but Jalen Ramsey just blew it up. So, again, bang, bang play, and defense wins.
We didn't have a chance to talk about it because it was on Friday night, and it's the first time we've been on the air since then, but I watched that Chargers-Chiefs game.
How about
the Chargers and Justin Herbert looked terrific in that game.
Again, you look at the AFC and the quarterbacks, Kevin, these are
it's amazing.
Great players. And I know Justin Herbert's taking a lot of heat for not having that success in the playoffs, but I think he's only played maybe 2 or 3 playoff games overall. So I wouldn't write him off just yet, obviously. And he had a huge game to take down Kansas City, who finally had their one game or one score winning streak snapped. I think it was like 17 games or something like that. And fortune did not favor them in that game. And honestly, fortune was not going to favor them if you see a quarterback on the other side balling like that. I thought the slide to end the game was one of the coolest plays I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, great reaction from their sideline. That's a win. I know this might sound odd, but it's kind of like the Colts Week 1 win. Like, as an organization, the Chargers really needed to beat Kansas City. Like, that's an important, and I know Justin Herbert wasn't taking the bait postgame at all with those questions, but it is kind of that type of win for them, and similar to the Colts with the Week 1 drought and all of that. So, that was a big win, certainly, from the Chargers.
In Kansas City, they're 0-1. They got to play the Philadelphia Eagles. And last time I looked at that matchup, they just got destroyed by the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and they didn't look all that sharp against the Chargers at times.
We'll see. I mean, I could sit here and tell you the Chiefs are dead, but
no, I won't say that.
I got to see the body. That's how I look at it with those guys. You just trust that they're going to get it together because they always do.
Two other things I wanted to bring up. One, Jaden Daniels picked up right where he left off. The Commanders beat the Giants 21-6, but he had 233 yards passing and a touchdown. And he also had 70 yards on the ground.
He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league already. I mean, what else do you want me to say? The guy he's good.
Biggest crime of the Week 2 schedule is that Chiefs and Eagles is the exact same time as Colts Broncos. Who scheduled that thing?
Yeah, Colts are going to be in the 4 o'clock window a few times this year, given their West Coast.
And that should be a sin.
They have one against the Titans. It's also in the 4 o'clock window. So
also should be a sin.
And then we'll go doubleheader, right, Mark, for Monday Night Football? Is it Chargers Raiders? Is that one of them?
Bucks Texans is the main game next Monday night, and then Chargers Raiders is the nightcap.
The 1-0 Raiders, correct? They beat the Patriots.
1-0 Chargers, 1-0 Raiders. Yeah.
I feel like football should kick off at 1 p.m. as God intended.
Every week for everybody, right?
I'm so serious.
I love the doubleheader, though, in the afternoon, getting home and watching the second half of a second game.
James,
when you're working the game, you ain't got time to do all that.
We did get a question about Jonathan Taylor. He met the media post game. No official injury was announced. Shane Steichen downplayed it. Granted, Shane Steichen also has downplayed a Hunter Wooler injury that ended up being a season-ending injury. So I guess we'll kind of wait. But he did exit with about 3-4 minutes to go in the game. Got hit. If you watch the replay, definitely got hit kind of right on top of the neck.
Yeah.
And they're up $1 million at that point, but he did not return. And it's also probably worth pointing out, James, I think at that point in the game, Taylor was the only running back to have played.
I did think about that.
DJ Giddens had not played a snap up until
Did
that
they not
point.
trust his pass protection?
Neither did
right
Ulysses Bentley the fourth. So there was no sort of rotation there.
Right.
And I thought Giddens did a nice job the rest of the game, but just obviously anything Taylor related, worth monitoring.
And he got a pretty good workload on a couple of those drives, too. They just kept feeding him the ball. At some point, you were like, does he get a break? Is they going to give him a blow real quick? But it didn't work out.
I think you might have asked this question last week, Kevin, about do you want to make sure JT gets some relief to a degree? Because
right. Yeah, I asked Shane Friday that.
Yeah,
and he didn't go there at all.
No, and because last year, the back half of the year,
they hammered Taylor.
It was JT, and if you're
north of 30,
I was gonna say if you're a betting man, you just bet the over on the amount of touches he was gonna get in the game. So I do wonder how he'll hold up if that is the trend they want to start the season with, because we know JT has had some injury history throughout his career, as most running backs. They get banged up, but you want to keep that guy fresh as possible because we know he's still one of the more special players in the league.
Shout out to the great Lara Overton. She chimes in here. The 4 o'clock game means little Kevin Harlan action here. So that's Kevin Harlan.
Also,
Trent Green.
I like that.
Shout out to Lara Overton for her outfit yesterday. That was fire. She had on like this blue jacket with I don't even know what you call them. Like they're not feathers, but they kind of look like them in a way. But she was fly yesterday in honor of Jim Irsay, who also was very fly whenever I saw him.
And again, I was listening in the second half to a lot of the broadcasts. She was terrific. She was on it. Every time the Colts do something big, man, she had some great little nuggets to throw in there. That whole broadcast yesterday was just outstanding.
Maddie Bowen was chiming in with some radio comments, driving the kids around the car. She's like, man, Lara just gave some great insight there. I was like, okay, I'll make sure that I relay that to her as well. So, Lara Overton, thank you. P1 listener, Lara Overton.
We're going to wrap up Victory Monday in a big way. Coming up next, it's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning. The Victory Monday continues. It'll continue all day long with Jake Query from noon to 3. JMV, of course, will be yapping it up about the Colts win yesterday. I was sitting next to him in the press box. He'll be on from 3 to 6 today, and then more Colts goodness on Monday evening at 6 o'clock with some roundtable action. And Kevin Bowen, it was almost, in a way, it was fun, but we're sitting there, and it was 20-0, getting ready to go into halftime, and you're just like, there's no way there's no way they can even lose this game. Like, Miami didn't even show signs of life at that point in time. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, no, little life. Honestly, little probably is too big of a compliment. A couple other items I know we've hit on a ton today. I thought the Colts tackled extremely well. Don't watch the touchdown that Miami scored. But outside of that, the Colts, I thought, tackled extremely well. And anytime you're playing a game week 1, anytime you're facing the Dolphins in that track meet, that can happen. And with how the Colts tackled so poorly last year, I thought that was a huge part of the game. So Lou Anarumo was cooking, but those 11 out there, I thought they tackled really soundly.
One other thing to keep in mind, I know you mentioned Jonathan Taylor. We'll get an update from Shane Steichen later today about his neck or how he's feeling. And obviously, yesterday he said it wasn't a big deal. But what could be a big deal is Jalen Jones. He went down with a hamstring injury there in the game, and we know he had a hamstring injury that kept him out for several weeks throughout training camp in the preseason. So although he wasn't starting yesterday, that title went to Xavier Howard. That is a hit to your depth at cornerback, and I wonder if it is the same hamstring injury, could this be something where they look at, the IR, where he's going to be out for 4 weeks or whatever the case may be? I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but that is something that I will ask Shane about later today.
And one other item, too, James, I know some people were chatting about it pregame, and I got a couple tweets about it. I'm sure you did as well. One of the healthy inactives the Colts had yesterday was second-round pick JT Tuimoloau out of Ohio State. I was surprised by that. It's very rare to see a second-round pick that's healthy be inactive.
Second-round picks play.
Yeah, even for their first NFL game. I was surprised by it because he's versatile. He produced a bit in the preseason. The versatility, I think, matters when, again, you're trying to assign roles on game day to dress there. So, probably a Lou Anarumo question when he meets the media coming up tomorrow there. But that did surprise me, and it sounds like that surprised you as well.
Yeah, I want to give one more shout-out, to the offensive line for the Colts. I thought they were just terrific yesterday. I mean, a little bit of a rebuild, obviously. Stalwarts are back. You talked about in the locker room, you saw a big smile from Quentin Nelson. I just thought the offensive line was dominant yesterday. They did what they wanted to do.
Yeah, they gave Daniel Jones plenty of time back there to throw some dimes, and Danny Dimes got it done yesterday behind the big guys up front. So
he was hit twice in 29.
And you know what? The one where he got hit, it reminded me of the AR play, where I don't know if it was a protection thing or we're supposed to see it, but he got smoked.
Yeah.
And got rid of the ball, and I was like, oh man, like that was a close, flying too close to the sun a little bit, but got out there unscathed and got a big win.
And I don't think we can say enough good things again about Tyler Warren. We've talked about it all morning long, but that's your first-round pick, and everybody's talked about what a football player he is, and we talked to Kenny Moore earlier. Shout out to him for getting up and coming on with us this morning, just talking about the fact that, yeah, you can see a guy play well in the OTAs and the preseason, but when it comes to yesterday, it's for real, and he can play football. And that was fun to watch, too, because he's everything we were told he was going to be already just in the first quarter of that game yesterday.
Special player. I looked at Stephen Holder, and I was like, man, that guy's going to have some Pro Bowls in his future. He plays like this. So it's early, and he has to sustain it, but the returns are very good. And, again, they haven't had a receiving tight end like that, I would argue, since Jack Doyle, the two-time Pro Bowler, who is still around these parts, living life.
This sounds crazy, throwing one more thing on Warren. Like, Patrick Surtain's one of the best corners in the entire NFL. Shut down Calvin Ridley yesterday against the Titans. If I'm Denver in the red zone, I'd almost think about putting Surtain on Warren. Like, I think he commands that type of, or is going to start to do that. Minka Fitzpatrick got the assignment and should have got pass interference penalty against him. So the Colts have a real weapon in number 84, and I think in particular you're going to see it more in the red zone. It doesn't always show up as the touchdown, but Michael Pittman Jr. should take half that football and hand it to Tyler Warren. If you go back and watch that replay, guys, watch when the ball's in the air, Warren puts his arm in the air. Warren knows I have the safety. He knows the coverage, and he knows Pittman's route. That's what great players command.
It was a lot of fun to watch, and already they're talking about the game next week. The Broncos are 2.5-point favorites coming in here with ferocious defense, but it'll be fun to watch that offense.
The fans travel well, too.
Work against that, so we'll be looking forward to that. Also, I know we only got about 30 seconds to go, but big shout-out, too, to that rebuilt secondary. They looked terrific yesterday.
Yeah, this was, again, the type of game that Jim Irsay would have loved, and quite a fitting performance with him going into the Ring of Honor yesterday.
I think that's a perfect way to end the show from all of us here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Mr. Irsay, this is from me to you and for the shoe. Thanks for a great day yesterday. It was fun.